to the video or anything like that?
And
Darn,
we're
I just had it
live.
open. I think I can get it.
Okay.
Maybe live for all the.
I've got one here, and I'm also going to post a link to the Scribd description that has all of the reports in it. But here's the injuries that the deceased suffered. He got one went through and through on his bicep. The second, and I'm saying first, second, third, but they don't know what order these shots hit, obviously. Second, that projectile was recovered off the floor. Second entry wound was on the left side of the chest, just below the nipple. This projectile traveled at a downward angle, striking and breaking ribs on the lower left chest. Was recovered inside the body, lower left chest. Third entry wound was top of the left shoulder. Projectile traveled at a downward angle, striking ribs at the lower left chest. Projectile then ricocheted off the ribs, traveled across the body, coming to rest in the lower right abdomen. This projectile struck the spleen, a kidney, and severed the inferior vena cava, main vein leading back to the heart, and the iliac aorta, or aorta section leading from abdominal aorta to femoral artery. So excuse me, it was not his aortic valve. I apologize about that. Bottom line is, doctor confirmed this projectile was the cause of death due to massive internal bleeding. So I mean, we've got two good center mass shots that tore out a lot of organs from a 40 cal, and this guy lived for, again, long enough to run to a car, long enough to ride 6 miles, and was still alive when the car crashed 6 miles later.
That adrenaline.
And, well, adrenaline got, and Lord knows what else he was on. I have not seen the results of the tox screen. I'm sure one was done. He was obviously intoxicated, according to all the witnesses. So, there's no telling what all allowed him to, the other contributing factors to his ability to continue to move.
We're talking about an incident that happened at a Waffle House in Florida, where a black guy and a Hispanic guy came in, a bunch of racist fucks were in there talking shit, and then the one guy, the racist guys were leaving, they went to shake hands with the two guys, and instead of, the one guy didn't want to shake his hand for whatever reason, and he sucker punches him. So the guy who got punched basically drew his 40, his sidearm, and told these guys to get out, and what the one guy came up to, I couldn't tell in the video what happened.
What happened was the one guy with the shirt off went outside and then rushed back in through the door and tried to rush the guy.
And it happened so fast, I guess the video camera didn't see it good, because that's where all of a sudden this naked guy shows up. Okay, so that's what happened.
Right, and I think this is a very important point. Just because someone has exited the establishment does not mean that they are not still a threat.
Good point.
And this guy was actually kicked out. He didn't just exit, he was kicked out of the restaurant.
Oh, right, the guy that with the shirt on.
Right, but he was outside. There had been an incident. The person had left the restaurant, but as soon as things went south, he rushed in and was back inside in a split second.
Yeah, they tried to say he flashed his pistol too, but that's
hear
not.
these incidents where people say, "Oh, well, he had left the whole building." So you couldn't use force against this person because they had left. They were no longer a threat to you. This video very conclusively proves that that's bullshit.
But anyway, it's what I think is very valuable about this police report, and I'd encourage everybody to read it. It's a pretty long read. And it includes police narratives of witness statements and everything, but it shows how different the perceptions of some of the witnesses were. Even witnesses who were consistent in a lot of ways thought they heard different things being said, and if not for video, it's very likely this guy could have been arrested and prosecuted if not for the video.
Yeah, the video is really telling too. I mean, you can just see it. He's scared. He's falling backwards practically. Like, he just barely gets his sidearm out in time. Like,
actually, what's hard to tell in the video, after he's punched, he actually draws it and racks the slide and drops the round on the floor because he already had one chambered. At that point, he then puts the gun behind his back. You see his hands go behind his back. He was actually putting the gun behind his back to basically de-escalate the situation. When the first guy that hit him saw the gun and kind of backed off a little bit, he put the gun behind his back to kind of de-escalate and make clear that he was not intending to use it. And that's when the other guy came around the corner and he had to swing back up and fire.
And that's kind of what I'm getting at is that when they tried to say that he was right away. They tried to say that he was brandishing it when he pulled it out, but he was racking it. He was getting it ready to defend his life if he had to. And then, like you said, he barely whipped it around in time to get into action. I mean,
but isn't that the perfect example of why we need brandishing? Because when you've got 3 guys who are aggressive and one of them's already punched you,
I believe it was actually 5.
Well, okay, so multiple potential threats, and he was, except for the incident where that guy came running in through the door, everybody else was pretty much backing away. That would have cleared out the joint, right?
So would that fall into a disparity of force, Eric? Is that why?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Disparity of force. The problem that you would have with the disparity of force claim without having the video, if I didn't have this, I'm defending this individual, I don't have the video, I have to have him or somebody else who was there articulate why he thought the other 4 were going to join in, and it wasn't just one or maybe 2 drunk guys causing the problem where their buddies were pulling them away.
Right. And last year we passed a bill, one that Florida Carry wrote, that said that someone can use a defensive threat of force against an attacker's actual or imminent use of criminal force. And this is kind of important in this kind of scenario. It means that prior to this law passing, this case might have been a little bit more of a judgment call for the prosecutor. With the current law, where you can use a defensive use of force, you can draw a gun because you're being criminally attacked. It means that him initially drawing the gun and racking the slide and saying back off was justified.
Yeah, before the new law, his action of drawing a gun after being, as a prosecutor put it to me recently,
Even after being punched in the face.
well, the prosecutor's attitude in one of my recent cases was, well, that was just a punch. All they did was hit him. He didn't need to bring the gun to the fist fight when he got hit. This case would have been very different for this individual had he not had a gun after the first punch was thrown.
Yeah. So we wrote a law last year and got it passed that allows for the defensive threat of force, not the actual use of force, but the threat of force when it is reasonably needed because of another person's criminal use or threat of force against you.
Says that he got 3 shots off. Is that correct?
Yep. 3 shots, 3 hits.
Three shots, all hits.
That's pretty quick.
Well,
He actually showed a lot of restraint.
most police departments would be lucky to have that kind of hit rate, or half that hit rate for that matter.
What was it, 16% from NYPD?
Something like that.
Yeah,
So
that
if they
video.
fire
definitely
100
shows
rounds,
the
they actually hit only 16 times. Fire 50 rounds, you get 8 hits. Well, what's the standard issue for NYPD? 9mm Glock?
I got no idea. Oh, I watched this video. Is fascinating to watch for what it shows.
Like at some point he's pointing at the blood on the ground and everything, right?
He's obviously freaking out because he's
Yeah, he's kind of shell shocked.
yeah, no shit.
What would you? I mean, what would you do the first few moments after you just shot somebody?
Well, he actually handled it pretty well. He starts asking, according to the witness statements, both of his cell phones were in his vehicle. He did not have his phone inside with him for some reason. He starts asking witnesses for their cell phone. He unloads the gun, lays it on the counter, starts asking witnesses for a cell phone to call, and he's actually the one that ends up calling 911 and tells the police that that his gun's on the counter, it's unloaded, and he will lay down on the floor by the time they get there. And before they come in the door, he's already on the floor. But you'll see that even when he's already on the floor, he still gets a knee in the back.
Yeah, that's Florida. What do you expect?
I don't know that it was a forceful knee in the back, but there's one on him to make sure he doesn't try to get up.
Yeah.
That's
Sure, because who's stopping a criminal from
I'll
making
tell you
its own phone call?
from my law enforcement background and my military background. Oh yeah, he's getting a knee in the back. This guy just shot somebody. Everything else is under control. I'm going to make sure this guy's under control.
You watched the interview with the guy that did CPR on the victim?
I have not. I read his witness statement. I have not seen the video.
Apparently, like you said, like you were tripping out that he was still alive. He was barely breathing. None of his wounds were bleeding at that point because he basically had bled out, and he was barely breathing out of one lung, and his brain was the only thing going. His heart was done. One of his lungs was done, and he wasn't even bleeding anymore.
Yeah, but
when you take out the aortic valve, there's
Yeah.
not a lot of bleeding going on.
Yeah.
You're bleeding, but it's into your own cavity, probably.
But the thing is,
Zero blood pressure. You're not.
But the thing is, you take out the heart. I mean, eviscerate the heart, remove it from the body.
Sean,
Someone can still be in that fight,
Dude,
and I cannot emphasize that enough.
Guys get hit with a landmine or artillery shell, they get like all their limbs blown off, and they're still laying there like alive. I mean, you can. The body can handle.
Right, but your limbs are blown off. You're not in the fight anymore.
Yeah, but
Someone with the heart taken out can still be in the fight. Therefore, they are still possibly a threat.
If this guy had a gun, he would have still been in the fight, and more than in the fight.
I don't know about that. Like, being able to move and being able to fight are two different things. If you have zero,
being able to fight and being
hold on,
You haven't seen somebody on.
Jesus, let me fucking talk. Like, god damn, dude. Like, you guys keep interrupting me. Like, you have a lung collapse and you have a valve blown out of your heart. You're shot in the bicep. You can move. He obviously he was able to move, but after that we can't see what he did. He could have been just laying like a bag of fucking dirty laundry in the back of that truck.
But they're not saying that he's
How
conscious
fast
and a
he
good
ran
fighter.
out of
Just
he
his
ran out of that restaurant.
Yeah, but that's a few seconds after he got shot. We don't know. After those, he could have been like a log just laying
That's
there. Not
good, but these guys are just saying that if that guy did have a gun and it was a different situation,
But that's
and
not
you
in
took
the
him out,
fight.
it doesn't mean he's not dangerous.
Just
Doesn't matter if
because-
he's still in a conscious fight. He's still dangerous.
Hold on. Just because he's still alive doesn't mean he's in the fight.
He
It
was
means he's
still
dangerous.
capable
Get rid
of
of the in the fight.
running.
Dangerous.
A few seconds, we saw him run out of there. After that, we don't know. We don't know if he was able to still be in the fight.
It
We
doesn't
also
matter.
don't
These
know.
guys aren't suggesting that guy was still in this fight.
That's
He's
what he just said.
saying that
That's
it's
what he
possible.
said.
He just said a person with a shot in the heart is still in a fight. It's still dangerous to you.
We don't know, but no.
He was
We're not
able
talking
to.
about this guy.
What we do know is that this person was able to run 20 yards to the car, minimum. He ran 20 yards to the car.
Yeah,
Someone that can run 20 yards
Can pull a trigger.
Yeah,
can
or 20
definitely
yards into
kill
you.
you.
And
but
can
for,
hurt you
but
really
for
bad.
how long? That's the thing. Like,
Doesn't matter.
Enough time to run 20 yards.
His mind was on getting to the car. If his mind was on going through you or taking you out with him, that's all that matters. So I'm just saying that you just can't assume a heart shot and the guy's going down like a.
yeah,
like
but
a-
you also can't assume a heart shot is going to mean he's going to keep fighting.
You
Well,
should assume that he's going to
because-
keep fighting.
Yeah, assume the worst,
Most-
hope for the best. You know,
Most often, you have what is called a psychological stop when you shoot someone. That means that they get shot, they realize they've been shot, and they give up. And that happens very often. Look, over 92% of the time, you don't have to pull the trigger. You pull a gun on someone who is attacking you, and over 92% of the time, this is verified by the work of Dr. Gary Kleck, that person will stop their aggressive action just by seeing the gun.
Okay, I'm just saying.
But we are talking about kind of the extreme scenario, which this guy was in. He was in the extreme scenario. He pulled a gun, and then someone still continued the attack. That is very rare.
Yeah, there's okay. So so obviously adrenaline's involved, and also alcohol was involved. So let's say that guy was sober. I mean, it could have played out different. He could have lived longer because his blood would have been thicker. He could have dropped right there because he wouldn't have been drunk.
But he would have been more apt to have a psychological stop.
Yeah, there's all kinds of mitigating factors in every single scenario. All I'm saying is, sometimes when you shoot somebody, they can live for who knows, but they may not, just because you don't have to what am I trying to say?
If that person is able to put 3 pounds of pressure on a trigger, he's a threat.
Yeah, well,
the point I was trying to make with this story, guys, and where I was going with this, I was suggesting that everybody should take a chance to read this police report for 2 important things. Number 1, to understand what kind of, even when you've got a bunch of witnesses, every one of those witnesses got some aspect of it wrong, contrary to the video. Okay, that's the number 1 lesson learned here. The second lesson learned here is you will hear prosecutors, and we just had a police shooting here in Jacksonville 2 days ago where they're complaining about how many rounds were fired at this person who had pulled a gun on 2 police officers.
And it was only 6, right?
Yeah, it was only 6. But the point being, 3 rounds, either one of 2 of which would and should have been fatal, and one of them was fatal, still did not stop a guy from being able to move 20 yards. So if he had been 20 yards away and coming at him, he had the physical and mental capacity in that circumstance to continue the attack. Now, is everybody going to be that way? No. But it goes to prove the point that we have to better educate juries on when we're doing these cases, to understand that just because I shot somebody all 20 rounds in my 19+1 gun does not mean I was excessive. It means that guy was still moving and still had the capacity to come at me.
Eric, the way you mentioned, the way that you described that, it makes me think, I mean, obviously this is assuming that someone has the clarity of mind in that situation, which might be a lot to ask. But
who has clarity of mind, or doesn't? You're saying the person acting in self-defense?
I'm sorry, yeah, the person who has to act in self-defense in that situation, let's say we were that person and we were role-playing, it would be to our advantage after we called 911 and got the gears in motion to, I don't know if it would be called, I don't know if there's a word for it, but basically to say, did you guys see how he did this, or did you guys see how he did that also? Or
here's the problem. There's 2 problems with that. Number 1, those other people have just been in a stressful situation too, and what you say to them might get misremembered.
Just as bad as their memory. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. The second problem with what you're suggesting, and this goes back to my suggestion of not saying anything,
recovering in the hospital tonight. The water bottle.
And I'm sorry, I've got somewhere, somehow, some videos playing in the background. And
same snake that you can see in this picture on Hatfield's Facebook.
Well, anyway, the other point to that is police officers, by their contract, get anywhere from 48 to 72 hours because the police unions have determined that it is unlikely that they are going to give an accurate and clear statement immediately following the incident. Why in the heck would you or I do anything less?
Right. How could we assume to be have better clarity of mind when they probably deal with that on a daily basis?
Exactly.
Good point. But yeah, that's interesting that, like you say, even with the video, so we can see pretty much what happened, and then obviously by piecing it together, like you've done from everybody's recollection, you can really make the full puzzle. But to get different experiences from, or different points of view from each of the witnesses, that would be nerve-wracking.
And here's what's missing, though. So the video is fairly clear, but there were witness statements that were very incriminating about what words were said and what when. And the only reason some of the very incriminating statements of what the audio would have been were discounted was because the same people in describing the physical actions very diametrically contradicted the video evidence, and so their oral statements were discarded as well. But the people that were with the deceased did a pretty good job, given the time they had, of getting their stories together and straight, and could have hung this guy but for the video.
That's even more scary, huh?
Yeah.
And look, it is very unlikely, given the defensive scenario, that you're going to have video available. I hate to go back to this guy because, it's such a polarizing thing. But during the George Zimmerman shooting investigation, the thing that convinced the investigating officer was when he told Zimmerman, even though this was a lie, that, oh, we have video of the entire incident, so now tell us everything. And Zimmerman's immediate reaction was, oh, thank God, there's video.
That was like part of the case that was in court? That was
yes.
Yeah. The investigating officer, the officer who was there that night investigating the shooting, told the jury that scenario is what convinced him that George Zimmerman was telling the truth and led him to the conclusion not to arrest George Zimmerman that night. And that is why George Zimmerman slept in his own bed that night. That's not because of anything Zimmerman said, not because of his version of events, but because when the officer lied to him, he said, thank God. That's what sent him home that night. And don't ever forget this. Law enforcement can lie their ass off to you. They can tell you that they've got your fingerprints on the other guy's gun. They can tell you that they've got a direct witness that says everything you're saying is untrue. They can tell you they've got a dozen witnesses that are saying you shot the guy in cold blood.
They can tell you that they've got video that proves that you shot him in cold blood.
They can and will lie to you. And the Supreme Court has said they're allowed to do so as an investigative technique.
Do you think that because of this situation, it was a minority defending himself against a group, that this could somehow be used for the pro-gun side and as a whole, as a way to empower the concept that guns are our civil right, that everybody.
Anybody you're going to convince of that based on this issue already knows it and believes it.
Okay.
It's something that you can bring up, just like we tried when the guy at Walmart got tackled.
Oh, don't worry, it'll get brought up.
Yep.
It's there, it exists, it's true, but it doesn't mean that we're going to get. We're really not going to get much play out of that. We're going to get no play out of that from the anti-gun side.
My son just wanted to know if his icon was Tony Stark.
I don't think so. We're just seeing black right now.
And the fence sitters are really going to be less than impressed.
He saw Sean's picture up on the screen while he's talking. He says, "Is that Tony Stark?"
Oh, Sean in the suit? Yeah, he does kind of look like Tony Stark.
Jesus Christ. Like fat Tony Stark?
You're like Tony Stark back when he was doing your Tony Stark.
You didn't know they made the Iron Man suit in big and large?
Okay, I'll take one.
Anyway,
I am an engineer and I am a pilot, so I will definitely fly that thing if you make one in big and large.
What I was trying to get at earlier is just because the guy ran out of there doesn't mean you should start trying to make headshots. Like, because you think that like somebody's not going to be incapacitated from getting shot center mass.
Oh,
like,
no, absolutely.
I mean, that's what
if I shoot you 3 times in the chest, I'm going to go for a CNS shot because you are still a threat.
Yeah, well,
and of course, I'm not ever going to shoot somebody who's not a threat.
There's 2 things that I think he did right. A, he aimed center mass, and B, he stopped shooting when the guy started running away. And those are the 2 things.
That's not always the right thing to do, though. Just because someone is momentarily running away does not mean that they are not a continued threat.
I know,
but it would have been more trouble for him if he would have shot him in the back as he was leaving.
I just did an interview thing where I interviewed 4 attorneys locally, 3 of which are prosecutors and 1 of which is a defense attorney, and all 4 of them agreed with the statement the first one made. The hardest thing to explain to a jury is a bullet in the back of a dead man.
Yeah,
yes, it is hard.
And you better have Mass Ayub or somebody comparable if you've got to explain it.
And you better believe it that I'm going to bring in every use of force expert on the planet if something ever goes wrong and I ever get charged with crime. And I don't think that will ever happen because, as we very well know, we only have a 1% chance of ever even having to draw our gun.
I was also talking specifically in his scenario. What he did, he aimed center mass. The guy didn't go down. When the guy turned and ran, he stopped shooting. If that guy was still a threat, then he could address that. But obviously the guy wasn't. He made the right choice on the fly at that moment. And I'm not going to start trying to make headshots because I'm worried like guys are like amped up and going to fucking like keep coming at me.
Somebody suggested that though.
Like I said earlier, and I know that Rob Pincus disagrees with me. I do believe that the first person to put metal on meat wins. And then you followed up with more accurate, more devastating shots. But I want to put that first round on as soon as possible when it is justified.
I mean, honestly, that guy probably made it to the truck and didn't do much else after that. Like,
no, I'm sure he didn't.
He was done. Like I watched the video of the witness that performed CPR on him. And
Florida.
You're making noises. He said the guy was unresponsive completely, and his wounds weren't even bleeding. He had no blood pressure, and he could barely breathe because one of his lungs was shot out. So honestly, the guy made it to the truck, but his fight was over.
Right. But that's after running 20 yards.
Yeah, well.
And that is
I equate that to adrenaline.
An important message because look, someone that you have taken out the heart has 20 yards of run left in them. They've got some fight left.
But think about this though. How long does it take average? Well, he looked like a young adult. So how long does it take a young adult to run 20 yards? Like seconds.
Yeah.
Right.
So he's only got seconds of fight left in him, probably. Let's just. I mean, we can agree on that. Before, I mean, if he would have had a gun and he would have still been shooting, he may have shot.
You ever been punched in the face?
Yeah, it fucking hurts.
Okay. How long did 8 seconds feel like?
Oh, it's forever. It's forever.
Plus, that guy he didn't just get punched in the face in a fight. He got sucker punched too, so he wasn't even expecting that shit.
How long does it take you to run 20 yards?
Less than 8 seconds.
In my prime, it was pretty fucking
10 minutes now.
Well, I mean, a good athlete runs what, a 4.5 40, a 4.
Yeah, my fastest I ran a 5-minute mile. So.
I always find one fault with the whole circumstance of this whole.
Your 5-minute mile, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I was track and field.
All right. So I'll tell you the expectation for a 17-year-old in the military to run 2 miles.
Okay.
Hey, Sean, hush up. Somebody said they only had one problem. I want to hear this.
No one gives a shit about how fast people run in the military. That's boring.
This is basically you're in shape if you can run.
I only have one problem with this whole scenario. There's only one thing that went down I don't like, and that's the fact that he didn't shoot all 3 of the racist bastards.
Well, and it's funny you mentioned that. I was just watching the end of the video again as y'all were talking, because I was thinking the same thing of trying to remember why he didn't shoot any of the other ones, and thinking it was because he had actually backed all the way up to the bathroom and would have basically had to shoot through glass to shoot any of the rest of them at that point.
He showed incredible restraint.
I have a procedural question to ask the panel here. Is that the normal procedure to then take out your firearm, unload it, and place it in a stationary position away from you? Is that what you're supposed to do?
In the South, that's a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he probably felt safest doing that.
Okay. If I called in that I had just had a self-defense incident involving a firearm, I would probably clear and holster or clear and dump onto a table.
The first thing you should
I knew that the threat was gone.
The first thing you should do after you you're safe, you know you're not gonna. The first, and I mean immediately, is call 911. You need to. You need to be the first person to call 911. Then after that, definitely put your weapon somewhere safe. And when the cops come in, make sure you're not near that weapon, because you don't want to be.
I mean, you may very well be holding. Like I said, 92% of the time when somebody pulls a gun, they don't fire a shot. You may very well be holding the gun on the assailant when police arrive.
Right, I got you. The other thing I did notice about that video is how we were talking about the air quotes knee in the back. But if you notice, the cops come in and they don't actually put a knee on his back for a minute.
They were pretty restrained.
Absolutely. I thought they were going to come in a little more
did it at all.
No, you got to do that when you're going to cuff somebody anyway. That's just
bullshit.
Well, now wait a minute. Come on. You know that's like standard operating procedure, right?
I've learned the proper way of cuffing people. I've been a law enforcement officer. I've worn a badge, and I don't have to put them into complete submission. But if I have a very responsive subject, but I need to be ready for them to become unresponsive, because the first time that cuff gets around the first wrist, they might freak out.
This guy should have never been in cuffs.
I do not fault them for cuffing the guy.
Yeah, I don't fault them for cuffing. They're gonna cuff little old lady. They're gonna cuff everybody. It's a standard operating procedure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't fault them for it. I mean, sometimes you can ignore procedure and not cuff somebody who's obviously not done anything wrong.
Eric, I know you're a defense attorney, but you do not have the benefit of a little bit of law enforcement experience.
I'm a citizen.
Yeah, you shot somebody. Yeah, you put your gun down. I'm gonna throw you in cuffs for a little while anyway, just to make sure everything.
Well, and the police arriving on scene, they have no idea whether the person actually has a second firearm or a secondary weapon, or is actually the bad guy at that moment. They don't know.
I do not fault the police for putting him in cuffs. I think the knee in the back was well measured, a little bit excessive, but
when you show up on scene
not
as a
actionable.
police officer, when you show up on scene as a police officer, you very seldomly ever see a bad guy that doesn't present themselves as the good guy if they get the chance.
I understand.
Okay.
Yes.
I understand all that. My commentary is more. Look, they even handcuffed the innocent bystander who just happened to be standing there.
I saw that, his buddy, right? They cuffed his buddy.
No, it was not his buddy. They didn't even know each other.
Oh, wow.
They came in about the same time, but they were completely separate and apart.
Guilty of being Mexican.
I was going to say, they're guilty of being the minority.
And the shooter was well known to the Waffle House staff. He was a regular at this Waffle House.
Which is probably a good thing, too.
And have you seen the picture of that little pinhead inbred little motherfucker he shot?
Yep.
I don't think he lost any future doctors or research science.
I mean, I heard banjo music when I saw this guy.
Yeah, the whole lot of them. They look like a nightmare.
Well, they look like they were trying to start trouble from the get-go. You know?
Yeah. Well, somebody was saying that they confronted a guy, somebody else who was there with his daughter, and were being like aggressive and rude and.
Well, here's the thing. We just had a new case out of the Sixth Circuit yesterday or today. Sixth Circuit Court, Federal Court of Appeals. That is the first federal court I am aware of that has now said armed does not necessarily mean dangerous, and you can't disarm and cuff somebody just because they have a gun.
Wow.
Very important. This was an open carrier.
Wait, could you say that once more? I wasn't paying attention.
We have a new case out of the Sixth Circuit either yesterday or today, U.S. Federal Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals.
And please explain to them who the Sixth Circuit covers.
Oh, gosh. Now, come on. You're testing my knowledge here. Hold on.
Do you know, Sean?
No, that's why I asked my lawyer.
Oh, man. Okay, Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio, Tennessee, and this was an Ohio case. This is an Ohio...
And remember, it's fairly recent that Ohio got its concealed carry license.
This guy is bringing a 1983 action against the police officer who handcuffed him for open carry.
A 1983 action means a deprivation of civil rights.
So he's alleging he was deprived of civil rights, and the officer claimed qualified immunity. So the bottom line is, the judge said that the whole Terry stop and the whole protective pat down and take your gun away from you thing that most departments now teach a standard procedure when dealing with lawful carriers, this court said that is not acceptable. Nice. You cannot disarm a person just because they have a gun. You have to show that you had some articulatable suspicion that they were either A, a threat to you beyond just having a gun, and B, that you had reason to believe they were involved in criminal activity.
Well, that's just like it. You can't just, as police officers, we can't just go up to some guy and go, hey, you're bigger than me, and since I want to talk to you, I'm going to cuff you and hit you in the back of the knees a couple of times. Having a handgun should be
often that happens.
Yeah. But people do that. Officers do that shit, but that is fucking illegal. You can't just go, hey, that guy's bigger than me, so I'm going to abuse him before I speak to him.
That's why I'm very leery of short police officers.
Or motorcycle cops.
Oh,
that is
motorcycle cops, but yeah, look, I'm 6'2" and damn near 300 pounds. I'm very scared of short, skinny police officers.
You should be more scared. You should be more scared of heart disease.
Yeah, that too. By the way, fuck you.
He's just looking out for you.
My cardiologist says I have a heart like an ox and about the same size.
Ouch.
What about your face? Water buffalo? Heyo.
David, I got Sean actually introduced me to some of your videos on YouTube a couple of days ago. I have thoroughly enjoyed watching them.
You must be talking to anybody but Yankee.
That would be Yankee. But by the way, I showed one to Marion Hammer, and she thinks you're an idiot.
So they're both right?
And if you don't know who Marion Hammer is, check your pro Second Amendment card.
So now, once something goes through the Sixth Circuit like that, is it like a solid precedent where other courts are going to follow it, or they don't have to?
Oh, no. Well, two things. Number one, it will be highly persuasive in other federal court. It's likely to be highly persuasive in other federal courts, but they do not have to follow it. And here's the worst part. As far as qualified immunity for officers goes, it has no impact. In other words, just because the Sixth Circuit has made this clear doesn't mean an officer violating that principle in Florida has any knowledge that this is a firmly established rule that he shouldn't do anymore.
Okay, the thing that you were talking about is exemption. Now, in the thing you were talking about in Ohio, he was exempt from violating the guy's civil rights. Is that correct?
One of the officers got qualified immunity for violating the guy's civil rights, but the main officer involved, the original responding officer, was told that he has violated this or has probably violated this guy's rights. He does not get immunity, and he's going to have to explain to a jury of his peers why he did what he did.
Okay. So now I'm going to sound either naive or stupid here. So you're telling me that on a regular basis, it's actually okay for them to violate your civil rights?
Unless the courts of that state or that circuit court of appeals have clearly delineated the law on this issue, it is okay for them to violate your civil rights.
Yeah, and even within the circuit court of appeals, it really depends on the laws of the state.
And let me give you the standard.
Whether we have an affirmative defense or an element of the crime.
And let me give you the standard the courts use to judge these officers. Y'all, you know what probable cause is, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It is more probable than not that this is the case. Generally cited as a numerical formula, 20-25%. Okay? In order to get away with violating civil rights, the officer does not need probable cause. He only needs arguable probable cause.
What the fuck is that?
That just means that my argument isn't completely stupid. Here in Florida, we have an estimated 8 million gun owners. However, only 1.3 million of them have concealed carry licenses. Therefore, if an officer sees you printing or believes that you are carrying a gun because of their experience and knowledge as police officers, that means that under current Florida law, and we just passed a bill to fix this and we're waiting for the governor to sign it, but it means that we can assume that you are a criminal if we think that you're carrying a gun.
Wow. And I'm still reeling on this arguable probable cause, but what you just said, it just piles right on that. You know, with my vast experience and knowledge, I can tell that you're an asshole, so I'm going to come over here and harass you.
Eric, please explain the police Superman theory.
You mean that all police officers are basically presumed, because of their training, experience, and knowledge, that they have almost a superhuman capacity to notice firearms, to recognize furtive movements, to recognize that you are nervous, because why should you be nervous when you're being questioned by a police officer? They are the superhumans, and and they also have super noses that allow them to smell completely enclosed, hermetically sealed bags of drugs.
I thought you were going to say they can smell bullshit from 20 yards away.
But that's different. As far as most police officers I've ever been known well, I would say that most of them do have that super capacity.
Yeah.
I'll give them that.
That comes with the territory.
I will give almost any officer who's had any time on the street, I will give him that he probably has above average capacity to detect bullshit.
I'm still reeling on the ability to violate your civil rights.
If you have a firearm in many states that recognize a concealed carry license as an affirmative defense, that means that every time you exit your home, you are committing a crime. You can be arrested for it. You can be put in jail. You can be required to go before a judge and then present to that judge that I have a concealed carry license, at which point they can then inquire as to whether or not it is valid before letting you out of jail. In which case, you still have an arrest record for illegally carrying a firearm that will follow you the rest of your life every time you apply for a job because it was still a valid arrest.
If you want to spend $1,500 for me to get it expunged for you, sure.
But you can only do that once in your life in Florida, right?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
So if you get arrested the next day for the exact same thing, you can't get that expunged.
And let me tell you how bad, with our case law that we've recently gotten in Florida, let me tell you how bad it is. If you live in the state of Florida and you have a gun in your house, let's say you're sitting in your living room with a concealed firearm in, say, how
about an unconcealed firearm?
Okay, yeah, you've got an unconcealed, you're wearing your gun in your own house and a police officer knocks on the door, you open the door. In Florida, he can now arrest you for the crime of open carrying, and you can explain to the judge that you have the affirmative defense that you were in your own home or at your own home or place of business when you were committing this crime, because it is only an affirmative.
Literally, you could have your window, the blinds open on your window, and a police officer driving by could say, "Oh, look, that guy inside that house has a gun." They could kick down your door and arrest you under current Florida law, and that would be totally legal.
Now, is it illegal to actually have the gun or have the gun loaded? Is that what's the crux of that?
There's no distinction between loaded and unloaded in Florida.
Okay.
I don't know about the state of Florida, but in West Virginia we had similar circumstances. But it wasn't ever geared for guns.
And as ridiculous as this sounds, Mobley v. State, Mackey v. State, what was the other case, Eric?
Did you just not hear me, or did you just start talking in the middle of my sentence for the fun of it?
Both. No, I didn't hear you. I would never be so rude.
But I was saying we had a similar law in West Virginia that could be applied to guns, but originally, I don't know about Florida at all, but in West Virginia, the same laws like that were being applied, that could have been applied to handgun, were actually holdover of old morality laws, because they wanted to be able to arrest people that were doing immoral sexual things in their house. And those holdover precedences got applied later to gun things. I don't know if they've ever fixed that or not. But a lot of times gun owners get bit in the ass because of the other old Puritan bullshit.
So just like Posner talked about the difference between having a gun and having sex on the sidewalk in front of your house.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. You mean you can't do that?
Well, there used to be a lot of the old Puritans. They didn't want you doing certain things, and I'm not talking like back in colonial days. I'm talking like in the 50s and the 60s.
Hey, man, I grew up in Texas in the 80s and 90s, and oral sex was still illegal.
Yeah, and they didn't want to just be able to arrest you if you did it openly or in front of someone or in public. They wanted to be able to arrest you if they just suspected you were doing it in your home. So a lot of those precedences and stupid laws started applying to other. Police started saying, well, we can do it for this, we can do it for other things too, and that just kind of stuck.
I don't know if y'all were aware of this, just to tell you how bad what you're describing is, Yankee. There was recently a U.S. Supreme Court case out of Florida dealing with a guy. They caught him with what they believed were some undersized fish off the shore of Florida. They counted the fish. He actually figured out he had 2 fish that were undersized, and so he dumped them overboard before he got back into port, and therefore they did not have that evidence to use against him. Fine. Dumping the fish back overboard at that point was a minor misdemeanor because they were still alive. But the feds got the bright idea that they could use Sarbanes-Oxley, which was designed to prevent the destruction of documents, accounting documents, to apply to the return of these fish to the sea.
Who were still alive.
The Supreme Court was not a big fan of this argument.
Yeah, I mean, because how can you catch a fish in its undersize and return it to the sea?
Well,
How did that end up turning out with the court then?
I don't know if they've issued their opinion yet or not.
Because there was no way for the fisherman, to be able to say, because when you're fishing, you catch, you release the small ones or whatever. So how can they determine that he wasn't just catching and releasing then?
Well, that's what I was trying.
Apparently, they weren't immediately released.
Oh.
No, I'm sorry. These were dead. I apologize. This was the case of John Yates.
Oh, they were dead. Oh.
They wanted to give him 20 years for throwing the fish back in.
Wow.
They weren't dead. They did give. I'm sorry. They have ruled. It was back in February. The court ruled that federal prosecutors overreached when they used the SOX Act, which was designed to prevent abuses in the financial industry, to take down Yates, a commercial fisherman in Florida, for throwing some undersized red grouper overboard.
Can you imagine how embarrassing it would be to be in prison? What are you in for? Undersized fish.
But now I know we're all big fans of Elena Kagan and Sotomayor and Ginsburg, right? But
actually, Kagan impressed me with one recent decision.
Well, in this particular case, Kagan resorted to quoting Dr. Seuss's "one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish."
Nice. So they basically saw it as thoroughly ridiculous.
They said that, look, Sarbanes-Oxley was designed for a certain significant issue, and it does not apply to fishermen.
Okay. Whew.
I'll tell you, if you're having your trouble wrapping your head around ideas like being able to violate your rights if they have arguable cause, the one that bothers me even more than that, some recent decisions that says if a police officer doesn't know the law, then he's not bound by it.
I read that. That
was Pennsylvania?
No, North Carolina.
North Carolina, okay.
You want to hear the scariest part of that decision?
Yeah, lay it on me.
It was either unanimous or only one dissent.
Yep.
That's the scariest part of that decision, I think.
It just seems odd to me that we, as non-law enforcement civilians, are required to know the law, and we're not giving any slack if we don't know the law, even if it's something as simple as a minor offense that doesn't seem like it's illegal for any certain reason. But police officers are the totally opposite. People whose job it is to enforce the law are not required.
As long as it was reasonable for them to believe that might be against the law, then it's okay.
Yeah, then that's leaving them up to them to be the interpreters of the law, not the enforcers of the law.
Not the interpreters of the law, the interpreters of what they think that the law should be.
Well, that's even worse. That's even worse.
Yeah, well, I will tell you this: the Sixth Circuit's decision that I was discussing, involving the guy with open carry and the arrest, they did touch on that issue, and said, look, it's very clear in Ohio. There is no way this officer could have had a good faith belief that open carry was illegal, and it was proven, and it was shown by the very fact that the officer did not attempt to charge him with open carry or any such thing. The officer charged him with failure, or what was it? I think it was failure to produce identification or something, because he gave him his name. But then it was basically a contempt of cop charge, because he knew he had nothing substantive to charge him with. Guys, it's been great to talk to y'all again. I do have to go for the night. Y'all have a fine evening.
Hey, thanks for joining us.
I enjoyed it. I always have a good time with y'all.
And we will try to get Rob so that you guys can have like a more of a one-on-one type of chat.
I think it'd be a great debate, and then maybe somebody's mind would get changed. I doubt it, but maybe it'll help some people make a decision.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
And I'll tell you, when it comes to Rob, he and I agree on. I was going to say 90, but 85% of topics.
But now you got to make sure to let me know in advance so I don't have any drinks before I do this debate.
Okay.
We'll do what we can.
I was driving my son an hour there and back drive to meet a friend that didn't even show up.
Oh man.
I missed the what is the particular topic of dissension between.
All right, guys. Whether or not open carry is a good idea and should be allowed.
I gotcha.
That's something no one's going to solve. That's chicken and the egg.
Yeah.
Right, guys.
Night, thanks for joining.
Aloha.
So today, excuse me, my voice.
That's one of those things I kind of expect people to disagree on because it's such a.
Well, and for me, it goes beyond that. We just have different levels of experience in actual fights.
It's just like I don't think open carry is a good idea. Tactically, I just don't think any tactical advantage that you give away is a tactical advantage the enemy can overcome and plan for.
It depends on your premise as far as open carry.
And as far as statistics as for which one is better, well,
no way to again, it depends. Are you talking about open carrying in the woods? Are you talking about open carrying in the middle of downtown New York?
No, I'm just talking about it as a general practice for your everyday life. I'm not saying going on a hunting trip. I'm saying open carrying, as most people would consider it. And for me, it gives away a tactical advantage. Now, it does give you the tactical advantage of speed if you need it, but since you're not using or need it,
and it gives you a level of deterrence that you do not have with concealed carry.
That's hypothetical because
but so is hypothetically you're going to be the first one to get shot. I think there's more criminals that are going to walk away than there are that are going to go crazy. And if they were going to be the guy that goes crazy on a guy with a gun, they're going to go crazy without a guy with a gun. They're going to go crazy.
And that's completely debatable, and there is no empirical evidence either way because we haven't figured out a way to do a study on it.
It's a fallacy.
And I've spoken to John Lott about this. I've spoken to Gary Kleck about this. I've spoken to a number of the researchers on this topic, and every one of them come back and tell me the exact same thing. We just can't figure out a way to.
Well,
we just can't figure out a way to prove it either way because, yes, I see the value of open carry as a deterrence, and yes, I see the detriment of the most hardened criminal coming after someone who's open carrying. Both happen, which is more prevalent, and there's no way to study it.
No, there's no way to prove it. That's why I said it's chicken and the egg. There's no way to prove it. Now, however, if you're one of the people...
I believe that most criminals don't want to go after the guy that they know have a gun.
Okay, are you done?
No.
Good, because you can say that there's no way to prove it, and that's true. That's why I said it's a chicken and the egg thing. That's why I expect people to disagree on it. I don't think anyone has the right idea on it. It's all different opinion. But, however, if you're one of these people that is just going to look at numbers and you're only going to believe numbers and nothing else, you can be told, well, there's no way to quantify it all you want. There's no control group. But there are people that look at it and go, okay, there are dozens, if not hundreds of incidents where people were targeted because they were open carrying. However, there's
I only know of a few incidents.
There's no way.
What? Hundreds? Where are any of these?
Throughout history.
I also know.
Wait, can I finish a fucking thought?
Well,
we even had a guy tackled in a Walmart recently because someone saw his gun. So there's an example of what can happen.
I know of 3 or 4 incidents where people were targeted, and I know of 3 or 4 incidents where crimes where it is definitively known that crimes were thwarted.
No, there's no way to definitively know something didn't happen that would have. If something
the IHOP incident in Alabama or Georgia
you cannot definitively say from a scientific standpoint that because something could have happened that it would have happened. So that's why there's no way to definitively prove how many cases of attacks did open carry deter, because you cannot prove that negative.
Right. I can only prove one of the negatives.
So obviously there's going to be more
because the attackers were engaged by police and admitted that we were going to rob this place, but we saw people open carrying, so we didn't. I only know of one incident where I can definitively say that yes.
Well, even that's not definitive. If you look at that from a scientific standpoint, that is hearsay. That is not definitive.
From a legal standpoint, yes.
So it's not even a definitive scientific measure. So that's what I'm saying. There's no way to measure it because one aspect of it is measurable and one aspect of it is not measurable. So you're never going to prove it through science. It's got to just be whatever you feel is the best thing to do.
Right, and look, my personal belief is I'm not going to openly carry downtown New York unless it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to the ATM, and I want that deterrent factor.
Well, you also have to remember that is the deterrent of the 1% chance that you. And we're using that number just off the, No,
that was not. That one is proved.
We're using it flippantly. Let's just say is the chance that you're going to need your gun, that your gun is going to deter 1% of the chance that you're going to get attacked, or is that chance that your open gun is going to cause you more trouble? Is it worth it? So that's another factor a lot of people take into it too. Like it's a non-criminal going to tackle you in
right, and I believe it gets down into the minutia of 1% of 1%.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to play with a $25,000 500 Nitro Express today that I'm currently showing a photo of. It's damn near the coolest fucking firearm I've ever seen. What's the again? Say again?
How much?
$25,000.
Did they make you wear gloves?
No.
What?
No.
It's a rifle?
Yeah, it's a double rifle.
Why is it? Okay. Well, no, it's a double rifle though. So why does it have 5 sights?
Oh, I was looking at them, flipping them up, seeing how they worked, and when I took the photo, I left them all up.
So it's just like different ranges instead of having a slider?
Usually they're all flipped down, and
Right.
you decide what range you need and flip it up for that range. Unfortunately for me, when I took the photo, I didn't flip them back down.
That's cool. It shows that it has all of them.
Yeah.
Wade, like I can't even the walls of that.
That's for shooting Godzilla.
The walls of the chamber were like a solid half-inch thick. I mean, the thing weighed. I don't know how much it weighed. It weighed a lot. It was actually.
You can look and see how long the chamber is and how it necks down right when the sights start. So yeah, it's really thick back there.
It was the coolest damn. I mean, man. I'm just trying to change the subject.
Why didn't you buy it?
I don't know. I didn't have your credit card.
You wouldn't have any credit card because I don't have a credit card. Ain't nobody gonna give me credit.
Okay, your debit card.
Yeah, your problem is you just need more money.
Somebody else bought it.
Well, I couldn't afford that. That would take everything I had in the bank to buy that damn thing.
Thank God. I don't think he bought it for 25 grand, but we blue booked it, and that's about how much they're going for. So I also got to shoot my Swedish Mauser, and that was fun too, but not as cool. I mean,
yeah, I would definitely be sleeping on the couch for at least 6 months.
Well, I might. Well, yeah. Well, I may not ever be able to use my right arm again, but it was cool.
Sleeping on the couch, I wouldn't even be sleeping in the car. I'd be in a van, in a tent down by the river.
I might not be able to sleep on my right side for a while. Let me just put it that way. Those fucking bullets were like,
My wife's mad at me currently because I'm proposing a hunting trip for this fall.
I have a feeling that I'm going to be able to justify buying a gun soon because somebody just spent almost $500 on theater tickets. So I'm going to be like, if we can spend $500 on theater tickets, I can buy another gun.
Well, yeah, pretty cool quote, right?
You would be surprised how many guns that $5,000 facelift got me.
All right, let's find you a gun.
8,000. Oh, facelift.
I mean, wait. This is what you look like after a facelift?
No, not for me. It wasn't for me, but I was like, let's just say, someone that lives in my house that isn't me has had a facelift. I'm not going to say who, but I'm just going to say, someone that lives in the house that isn't me has had a facelift, and I don't think it's my kid.
Your youngest son.
Good-looking dog.
And, it was a deal. It was a deal. We know a plastic surgeon, and he was like, I'll give you $25,000 worth of work for $5,000.
I know who it was.
The cleaning lady.
But still...
No, the centipede scared him into it.
Yeah, that got me permission to buy a lot of guns. So that's why I had that little rush of guns there for a little while, because it was like, if you can spend that on a facelift, that I don't even fucking look at you anymore, so why do I care about a facelift? And I can buy guns.
That's okay. my FNX is sitting with my holster maker. I haven't even shot the damn thing yet.
So I'm looking at the Facebook or the Instagram here, and Second Amendment Mommy's
I've got about $1,800 into a gun I haven't even shot yet.
And put diamonds in the primer pockets, so they're like earrings where the primers are diamonds.
What? Really?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I like it or not.
What are you looking at?
It's on the Instagram, Second Amendment Mommy. I don't know if you guys follow her, but
yeah, I've seen these things, and
tag me.
how good it's done.
Oh yeah, I'll tag you, Yankee.
That goes into them.
I think I would have used a better head.
It does get a little bit tacky back for me.
Yeah, I mean they're cool, but yeah, I'll tag you.
I think Sean's internet only works one way because he keeps talking over everybody.
Yeah, he might have lag.
Yeah, I might be lagging.
Yeah, it's just the lag or whatever. If you don't hear somebody starting and you start, you don't know when you're talking, but it's no big deal.
I'm sorry. Please don't be butthurt by my talking over you.
Wasn't it Dolly Parton that said it takes a lot of money to look this cheap?
Yeah.
The epic part is that you didn't even say nothing; you just did it.
Well, I was gonna say you gotta at least laugh at the joke.
See how long.
Anyway, I don't know if I like them or not. Having the case of a 9mm around it. I mean, I would almost think it would be cooler with like a 25 auto because then your like proportion of brass or whatever around the primer pocket wouldn't be so much.
I agree.
Covering your whole earlobe if it's 25 auto.
Seriously, well, with 9mm, yeah, it looks like she's got she's one of those kids that's got the plugs or whatever that makes your whole ear hole big.
Yeah.
Piercing big or whatever that's called.
And it's federal champion.
That's the look though, so I like them.
Yeah, if you're gonna make an ear, at least get it like a really cool caliber. Maybe find some like old casing from like.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, like an old one.
Yeah, some old one from like turn of the last century, World War I or something.
No, I like the fact that people can recognize these.
Federal champion.
Well, they do say 9mm on them.
Or whatever caliber, 32.
I just don't. I think the brand can be classier.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like an old 32 from like I don't know.
Still, I guess that's a cool idea. I guess. Seems more appropriate for a belly button. She should do that next.
I like it. I like the way it looks. I think G-Web's like the 25 cat might be more proportionate for her ear size, but
I think that would make it look a little bit more like jewelry, and then if you look close, you could tell. But yeah, I think it's cool. Definitely not good with shotgun cases.
Unless you're one of these hipster kids that has the big. That's what they should start doing. The gauges.
Yeah, in Oregon, you'd be like, I'm up to 12 gauge. I'm only at 20.
We need to market some. We need to market some of those gauges that are shotgun shell like ends and stuff.
Seriously,
I'm surprised they haven't done that yet. Well, maybe somebody has some hardcore.
If there's any furniture, if there's any jewelry makers out there that wants to team together with me to make Yankee Marshall brand hipster earrings,
butt plugs.
I've already got a guy for that.
Nice. Well.
I kind of wish your internet would die now so that the last things you said on the internet tonight would be butt plugs.
I was trying to kill the chat.
Well then.
I need to get another Mauser.
Don't give up hope, man. Don't give up hope.
Did I miss much on the chat with Pincus after I left? I came back for the end of it, but
just the best parts. I don't remember what part you
just talked shit about. As soon as you left, we just talked mad shit about you.
Good.
Did you call him Dinkus at all?
I called him Rob and said, "Can I call you Rob?" Then I told him he had to call me.
I hadn't actually ever like listened to one of his shows or whatever. He had a lot of good insight. I mean, he definitely. I don't like Sean said. I don't agree with necessarily everything, but he definitely isn't just like picking it out of thin air or regurgitating something he heard. He definitely.
I agree.
Has ration behind everything.
One thing I noticed though is everybody's got a different. I think that chat pointed out that everybody's got a different version or a term for muscle memory or whatever you want to call it. You know, just basically practice. You know, like. I mean, obviously, your muscle can't have memory. It's a stupid term, but you definitely.
Well, but that's like saying that a baseball pitcher or a tennis player, maybe a pitcher is a better idea, but somebody who does something very repetitive over and over and over, they're going to be able to do that in their damn sleep, and that's the concept of training.
Exactly.
And if someone calls it muscle memory, and that's technically the wrong term, there's still something to be said for practicing.
Yeah, but one of the reasons I think a lot of people object to the term muscle memory is when you say muscle memory, it's almost like you can take your brain out of the equation, but your state of mind drastically affects your muscle memory because it's basically your brain under specific circumstances sending signals to make your muscles do this. And if your circumstances change psychologically, it also changes the way your muscles react to those signals. And
I don't agree. I've been in fucked up situations, and the only I don't even know how. Like, I reacted like exactly how I was taught. Like, the first thing I did was what I was taught to do without thinking about it, and I didn't. I mean, it was stressful as hell, but I went right to my training. I mean, that after that initial surprise, then it just kicked in, and then I realized I was already doing it. By the time my mind caught up to everything else, I'm like, holy fuck.
No, your body doesn't do anything without your mind. Like I said, you conditioned your mind to send those signals in a certain way, and the fact that you hesitated for a second, that's because your brain had to adapt to a new set of rules. Because when your body's under different types of stresses, etc., there's different rules that your brain is following.
I'm just saying, like.
What?
I mean, I hesitated for a second. I don't even know how long. Like, time is like not. Time goes out the window. Like
your body sends a signal. Let's say your brain uses a certain. I'm telling. G-Web said what? I think it was G-Web said what. If your brain sends a certain signal to make your arm move with a certain amount of force, enough force to lift 5 pounds, let's say you're used to lifting a 5-pound belt, and your brain has gotten to the point where it knows how to do without even thinking about it. So subconsciously send that response to your arm to grab this 5-pound bell, pick it up, move it up one shelf. Grab a 5-pound bell, pick it up, move it one shelf. If under a set of different circumstances, say you're moving a 5-pound bell, but now you're terrified, your brain will send the same signal, but because your body is reacting differently, you will overreach your goal of sitting it up on the shelf, where you could have sat it on the shelf without looking 50 times, not under stress, but now under stress, you lift the bell 3 feet too high, throw it too far over your shoulder, etc., because now your body is responding in a different way to the same stimuli. And
how do you explain professional sports then?
Because they're not frightened when they're doing it.
All I can say
Come on. The final time in any important game, you're saying there's no stress.
At no point do they think they're going to die.
all I can say is from my personal experience. In my personal experience, I was shocked how, like, whatever you want to call it, muscle memory or whatever term that can be applied to that, when it was all over, I was like dumbfounded how I just kicked into what they taught me to do without even thinking about it. There was no thought. There was like.
And what that act was, describe the act real quick.
There's a name for that, but I wouldn't call that muscle memory. That's just like instinct or.
Yeah, it's not like
level training or something.
Part in it because he had to learn how. Like I said, I had that captain once, and this guy is a very accomplished battlefield guy. Far more than I could ever imagine to be. And he was a retired captain, and he said, training teaches you how to push the fucking buttons. And it teaches you how to push them in your sleep. Actually doing it under combat teaches you how to do it in combat. And you can't teach how to do it in combat any other way other than combat. And there's a lot of what he said there that's very scientifically sound. And it's like when you said with professional sports athletes, they'll tell you, the first thing they'll tell you is, You have to keep your cool and keep your head in the game, because if you start to get mad or panicky or etc., your reactions will start to alter. Those conditioned reactions that you've taught yourself to do, like you've taught yourself to throw the ball and catch the ball in your sleep, if you allow your physiology to change to a certain degree, those reactions will change a certain degree also, and you will not perform at your best.
I like what Rob Pincus said about driving, because the other day a car came across the double line, and I really did think I was about to fucking die. And I slammed on my brakes, honked my horn, tried to like turn a little, check my rear view. I checked my side mirror to see if there was a car, like all within, you know, a split second. Like, you know, this guy's about to kill me. I'm going like 50. I slammed on my brakes and turned and checked my mirror to see if there was a car to the right of me that I was going to hit, while trying to avoid getting into a really bad wreck. And it's just like he said, like, you know, you don't you're hitting the brakes all day. You know what I mean? Like, so when it comes down to a life or death, like car accident, you're just gonna slam on your brakes really fucking fast. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna do it really quick.
To take that to a true scientific point, you'd have to say, what is the optimal amount of pressure to apply to your brakes to make them work optimally well, and what point of pressure makes them work as well? This is like, especially was important before anti-lock brakes, and they did these studies. People, when they panic, applied too much pressure to their brakes, lost control of their cars, etc.
Yeah, that might be true. I mean, that is true. But my point with the gun stuff is, for me, it's like we're not all walking around with our shirts tucked in, drop leg holster. Like, you know, a lot of times in the wintertime, I got a t-shirt on, a button-down shirt, a jacket, a fleece on, all this stuff, and to get to your gun quick, it's like, to me, that's like hitting the brakes fast in an accident.
You left out your special helmet.
I got the helmet on. I got all kinds of shit, dude. I got like, so I'm just saying, like, in terms of like getting to your gun good, not getting it caught on something, bringing it up, getting it on target, pressing the trigger, all that stuff. It's sort of like, you know, you got to do other things, but like what, you know, in a car analogy, it's like you have to hit your brakes fast. You have to, you know, maybe you have to steer out of the way, maneuver quick, all these things under pressure, and you are under stress, and you do think it's about to be a huge wreck. That stuff, it's just constant like instinct, because all day long you're steering the wheel, you're hitting the brake, so
no, it's not instinct, because we are not
you learn that.
Pre-programmed from from caveman days to drive a freaking car. It is a result of training and repetitive repetitive use.
Also, everybody doesn't handle that amount of stress. There's the same way. Some people freeze, some people flip the fuck out, some people handle it really well. That's individual. That's, you know, you can be the most. There's lots of times well-trained guys lose their effing minds because they get stuck in the real life scenario and it's too much for them.
But you got to play the numbers, and the person who drives more often or who has more experience driving is going to be better under that crazy situation. The same as somebody who trains and practices and thinks about and does some sort of off training to be ready for that crazy situation. It's not the first time they've encountered the situation. It's the first time they've encountered the situation with induced stress, but then they're not trying to remember how to work their gun. That stuff comes out of reflex.
Yeah, the part about knowing how to push the buttons is something you got to have down pat. But it's like using the traffic analogy.
So we're talking about the thing here. I think we're basically saying that by practicing and by training and by being aware of what you can do and what potential...
But we're talking about why a lot of
people... It can only help. I think that it can only help, dude.
We're talking about why a lot of people don't like the term muscle memory and why they don't use it much anymore. That's why, because it's not really muscle memory.
Well, there's other terms for the same thing.
Yeah, so quit getting hung up on the muscle memory thing. It sounds like you're saying that people should not be aware of a situation, a dangerous situation, before they encounter it for the first time, because there's not a such thing as muscle memory.
Saying muscle memory is a misnomer. It doesn't freaking exist. But it is a damned good descriptor of something that you have ingrained into your psyche, into your subconscious, and into your conscious mind. of how to react to a certain given stimuli.
And let's just take the traffic driving scenario another step further. People that drive all the time aren't necessarily capable of handling a high-stress driving situation. Like people that drive in downtown Atlanta all day are used to slamming on their brakes while flipping somebody off and checking their mirror and changing lanes to avoid someone. They do it all the time, so they do it with very little issue. Someone that lives in rural Arkansas may have been driving for 35 years, but when they come to a time where they have to drive under stress, they don't do as well as the guy who does it multiple times, so he does it every day.
Look at DB's links on the side. Like, all I know is, like, with my personal experiences, we were trained over and over and over again, and then when the fucking time came, I didn't think about what I did, and by the time, like, I got a chance to think about it, I was amazed how quickly and thoughtlessly it seemed thoughtless, but you know, my brain was probably firing on overdrive, but like everything played out exactly like I was trained because.
All right. Well, and Jakey, you're a little bit of a student of psychology. There is a concept called tachypsychia, and it comes very much into play under high stress scenarios. And you will have one of two responses, generally. Either things will slow down in your brain, and you will respond extremely quickly while you feel that you're being slow. Or you will go into brain lock, and you will respond extremely slowly.
Yeah, you can have like sensory amnesia even.
Exactly. Now, I was one of those more psychotachia type people that responded very quickly under stress. And, well, that's why I'm still here. I knew guys that didn't quite have that response, and some of them are still here, and too many of them are not. But generally, when you get under that high stress scenario, yes, there is that factor of muscle memory, as we commonly call it. There is that factor of, I have learned to do these certain tasks under this high stress. And the more that you can train for it, the better, because when it comes to that critical moment, you have a better chance.
Dude, I don't think anyone has ever said that the more you train doesn't give you more of a chance of doing it right. What they're saying is...
But it doesn't guarantee it at all.
It doesn't guarantee it at all. And also, getting yourself locked into a static thing where you think if I do this every single time the fucking same way, I'll be able to do it that way when stress comes. That can be a very big...
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I don't know where you're getting that. I've never been to any training that said this is the way to do it only.
It's a training to do that. We're talking the concept
because training trains you for what 80% of people are going to do.
No one is discussing anyone's training methods here. We're talking the concept of muscle memory.
No, but you
right. Which is really
that if you go to training, then you're always learning headshots or some preconceived notion that isn't correct.
Like that. But there are some trainers, like even Rob said, that get too focused on training. This is ABC, 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 and that doesn't give you as good a training as knowing that there's more than ABC. But that's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about the concept of muscle memory and how it actually works.
I don't know. It's just like preparing yourself to get to your gun fast, no matter what kind of clothes you're wearing. Getting to your gun quickly and efficiently without getting it tangled on your coat toggle and dropping it on the floor in a panic situation, and getting your gun up, and that's to me the most important kind of thing in training. It's like
I am not afraid. I'm not
clearing your garment and all this other stuff, because taking a headshot, it's like not. No one's. I don't know.
I don't mind. You probably should train for headshots. There's certain saying what they would be a good idea, but like you said, learning how to clear your guard. It's like one of the questions I asked him. A lot of people don't ever get to draw from their holster while they're shooting, And I think that's one of the most important things for people to do. Train from drawing from their holster the way they actually carry it. Because one of the things I see that training sometimes, and this is one of the times I took training at, was kind of like, they wanted you to have an open holster, no cover garments, and it was for safety. But I'm like, well, it would be kind of more beneficial to me to learn to draw from underneath a polo shirt or something, because that's the way I carry. But a lot of people don't get to ever do that, because if you go to the range, they're like, no drawing from your holster, no, firing from a holstered position, etc. So.
What's messed up is that when you take a training class, like say you took Pincus's class, he's not going to be like, all right, thank you, here's your certificate, you're done now. Now you got to go home and practice everything that he taught you, or everything that someone else taught you. Or you could take 3 or 4 different instructors' classes, but you still got to go home and practice, and that's where I don't do it. I'm lazy, so I don't sit around and practice drawing all the time.
When I asked him that question about how to overcome that fact that people can't do that at the range, that's what I wanted, and he said that, exactly what he said. That's what I wanted to say, because I get so much shit from people every time I make a video about, practicing drawing and dry firing in my living room with the television. Oh, that's unsafe, blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
that's the best thing you can possibly do, given a home environment.
Yep. And people will give you shit on the internet because, oh, that's unsafe. You shouldn't be doing that. And I'm like, it's the thing you should be doing more than anything is playing at home.
Yeah, those repetitions aren't, maybe they're not muscle memory, but they're ingrained in you. Like those repetitions, getting a good grip, pulling, all that stuff, especially if you practice with the clothes you're wearing and shit. And it's ridiculous.
Sometimes you can do things better without thinking about it. It's like when I type on my computer here, if I'm not thinking about it, I will catch myself typing without looking at the keyboard, and I'm doing it just fine. But then as soon as I start thinking about it, I realize, I'm typing without looking at the keyboard because I never learned how to type, so I shouldn't really be able to do that. Then I can't do it because now I'm like,
muscle memory lets you do it.
Yeah. You've gotten inside your head.
Yeah, that's just repetition. That's just totally.
Do not
I don't know what
inside your head.
I think the biggest, aside from training, the only other thing you have to face is the huge the fear and adrenaline rush that's going to hit you like a wave.
But that's a good point.
And you know what? You've heard that 1,000 times, and I will tell you from my experience, it's bullshit.
But wait, even if it was true, though, that fear and adrenaline rush is going to hit you if you haven't done 1.5 million repetitions, or if you didn't do any. It's still going to hit you.
The first thing that you're going to have, bring out your psychology degree and tell me if I'm not wrong, the first thing that you have is disbelief.
All right, well...
the first time somebody shot at me, I went, holy crap, are they really shooting at me? That was my first thought.
Right,
at which point,
I'm just...
a Special Forces staff sergeant fucking cut my legs out from under me, dropped me to the ground, and said, shoot back, motherfucker, and I started shooting back.
I had the exact same response.
And I never had that response again, but the first time I got shot at, I stood there and said, are they really shooting at me?
Well, I had a similar
And it was probably only about a second and a half before I got dropped to the ground, and I started returning fire.
I had a similar experience because I was sitting on an earth mover, and I hear the ping, 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 and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I should have known exactly what it was, but because my brain is like, this is not something that normally happens to us, I'm like...
Your first reaction to an attack is disbelief.
Yep. And that's not just an attack. That's anytime you see anything that is outside what you have determined is the norm for your environment, you'll have that reaction.
I'm just saying, the disbelief, the fear, whatever you want to call it.
And the best thing, it's not fear. It is just, this isn't processing in my brain.
Never mind. I'm done.
Well, but I think what the point he's trying to make there is that training will negate that fear to a degree, because if you're more prepared for something, like if you're an EMT and someone falls off a bicycle, you're like, I'm an EMT, I can handle that. If you're somebody's mother that's never done anything more than stick a rectal thermometer in someone and your kid falls off the bicycle, you're like, oh my fucking God, my kid just fell off his bicycle.
What was I going to say? Something funny. I was going to say a joke. I was going to say a joke, man.
I don't know.
No, I will say this, though. Once you've recognized that that's in you, that initial contact might create that
There we go. Your turn.
There's also not okay. When you're surprised because the scenario surprised you. There's also the one you see coming. There's the slow roll. You know, you're like, this is getting fucked. This is getting fucked. Oh my God, is this really? You know, oh, you know, you get that slow roll scenario. You see it coming, and then there's the one that like sneaks up behind you, and now you have no time to think. The surprise.
Yep.
And like, not every scenario is somebody really fucking shooting at me, you know, like, and that's an honest to God scenario. But there's also the one that you see coming at you. You're like, wow, that's gonna be fucked. And
yeah,
you have the time to get scared or get hit by that adrenaline.
Well, and that's when training is going to do you the most good, because then you're going to be like, I'm prepared for this.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. It's like to me, like, besides the repetition, the dry firing at your TV, which I also do, and I think I've done it forever. I think it's a great way to train. Is you know, it's hard to recreate that rush in, you know, at the range or civilian training, or even in a class. It's hard. You're gonna have to find somebody really special to be able to, like, as a, you know, class-wise, to be able to, like, at least get a little bit of stress in there, get a little bit of something in there to make you have to overcome you know, those shaky hands or that out of breath, you know, maybe make you run or do some push-ups before you shoot.
I'm a pussy. I'm telling you, like, the first time I ever went to a training class, I was nervous enough just by being there, like, just by making that step, and then, like, even the day before, I was like, man, I want to cancel. Like, I don't want to go. It's like the first day of class, you know, first day of school as a kid or something. Like, then you're on a fucking line with complete strangers. You're bumping into it. You're shooting at targets or whatever the fuck it is. The whole thing is it's not I wouldn't say like nowhere near like being attacked or anything like that. But like, you are kind of like, it's not like going to the range by yourself with some shoot and see stickers and and the camera and like, just, you know, it's different.
You're never going to be able to recreate that in a civilian. I mean, some classes they'll try, you know, but that's good. Like, that, you know, the nervousness is good because it's as close as you're going to get. I mean, like, you know, people bringing up the military. The military is free license to fuck with you and, like, throw shit at you and yell at you while you're shooting. You know, make you do a bunch of push-ups before, because they can get away with that. Very few people are gonna pay to go to a class where they hit you with a stick every time you miss or some shit, like, you know what I mean? Like,
so like Haas USMC was. I watched a video like the other day. He was saying he was carrying that holster, that trigger guard holster that tethers to like a belt loop. You know what I'm talking about? Like, it's a MIC. It's a piece of Kydex that covers your trigger guard, and that you kind of like loop it through your belt loop, and then you can tuck the entire gun in your pants or whatever. Yeah. And he was carrying that for like a year or two, and it wasn't until he took it, he used it for a force-on-force class, and he was like, dude, I'll never, ever use that holster again. You know, like, those kind of scenarios really test your gun, test your gear, and just test out your kind of theories that you might have built up along the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
what you're going to be comfortable with, because that might be perfect for the next three guys down in the line. But if it didn't work for him or for you, then yeah.
It also gives you a real reality of, like, okay, yeah, I choose to carry, like, I've got a Dickie on over top my, or not a Dickies t-shirt, a Dickies shirt over top mine, not a Dickie like, you know, a fake turtleneck, a Dickies work shirt that I use for concealment. I know that's going to make it harder to get to my gun if I ever need it, but I weigh it out and I'm like, it's going to make my everyday day so much easier that it's worth it.
You know what makes that easier? Do like a Wonder Woman twirl right before you're going to draw, and then their shirt lifts up like the cape.
I like to get the ones that have the snaps. That way you can do the Michael Jackson rip your shirt open and scream while you get ready to draw your gun. Like he doesn't have to.
Good guys.
Well, it's actually orienting because they think they're about to get raped or something, maybe.
Yeah.
For better or worse. Like when I took that force-on-force class, and then that last time I was being such a coward and I was just tired the second day, and it was the last exercise, right? The last thing. And they're like, "Do we need any volunteers to be role players?" And I was like, "Oh fuck yeah!" I raised my hand because I was done. Like, I was exhausted, and
then you put your bustier and your little thing on and realized that wasn't what it was about.
Yeah, then I realized, because like it was an intense final scenario, which was like fucking crazy. So I was the bad guy with a knife, like one of those rubber knives.
Yep.
And I'm totally like not in great shape. I'm healthy, but I'm like not in great shape or whatever. And it was like 10 kids or 10 students, grown ass men, not kids, but like a lot of guys. And each time they were walking through the shoot house, and I was to charge them with this rubber knife, like full on charge them from like 25 feet or whatever it was. Run at them full speed, and don't stop until you get shot with the simunitions, which fucking hurt. But it was fucking crazy because I was like, like after the 7th student came through, I was like ready to tap out because I would get shot in the face, arm, whatever, and then I would hit the ground each time. And it was just, wow, I was like, holy shit. And the other guy who was role-playing with me was a cop. He was role-playing a police officer, so he didn't have to run or fall or anything, get shot at, nothing. And I wanted to switch places with him. But he had like a health condition or something. I don't know what the fuck it was. But anyway, I just stuck it out. And watching like 12, 13 people see me dressed in all black, running at them with this rubber knife, and they had this Glock 17 simunition gun. And this is day 2, so they've been through several of these scenarios. And seeing like 2 or 3 of those dudes drop their fucking gun, you know what I mean? Like in a total panic. If they weren't, like if that wasn't just a game to them, you know what I mean? Like if they were just totally gaming it, they still dropped their fucking gun, dude. You know what I mean? Like it got caught on something. It got caught on their shirt, or their palms were sweaty. It was just like, wow, can you imagine in real life? Like, and that's something to go home and think about after 2 days.
You know what it also does is it makes you think like consciously before you get yourself into a situation like, oh shit, I kind of know where my limits are, my boundaries are, and I'm not getting out of that, like going down those stairs to the ATM. I think I'll look for a different ATM.
Yeah, because I'm not as Superman as I think I am, so I'm going to adjust my lifestyle to where I know I'm not Superman.
My range has like this side range that nobody uses. I don't. It's like there's like the main range, and then there's a indoor part, and then there's this like these 2 bays down the side of the range, and like nobody ever uses them. And so like, you can do the whole thing where you like, start from the fence and run down to the bench and pick up your pistol and shoot at the target, or run down the road, the thing to the bench and carry something heavy. You get your breathing up, get your heart going a little bit. So you can get that like shaky hand, like breathing hard thing going on, so you can try to overcome. I mean that's.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like I saw this instructor, Pat Mack. Is it Pat McNamara? Like he's a gun guy on old special forces guy. Been on all the training videos. He's got whatever. He's on YouTube and shit. But like he does this thing where he runs around, does sit-ups, push-ups, and gets himself completely like hyper. He's out to the point where he's stressed the fuck out just from mere physical exercise, and then he starts shooting and doing these drills where he's like out of breath. That's awesome.
You're stressing your body more than your mind, but your body still reacts the same way. That out of breath, like wander, your shaky hand, fatigue. Thank you. God, words are not my friend today. That fatigue feeling, and I mean it's not mental fatigue, but it's close. It's as close as you're gonna get.
Well, you're working in a way because you're teaching your brain how to operate your body when it's in that condition, so that's helpful to a degree. But like you said earlier about the slow roll, I don't spend most of my day worrying about someone's going to jump out of the bush at me with a knife and I'm going to have to react instantly.
Yeah.
I'm actually more afraid of what you said earlier, like the slow roll danger. Like I'm in the mall and I hear bang, 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 and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And I go to walk out the door of the store I'm in, and there's an active shooting situation going on outside. And now I'm trapped in a store having to plan, what am I going to do in the next couple of minutes? Am I going to draw attention to myself? Am I going to try to hide it out? Am I going to try to distract him? Am I going to try to stop him? What am I going to try to do? That's what I spend more of my life planning for than I do a guy jumps out with a knife shooting.
And I'll be honest, from my limited experience, to me that is a scarier scenario to be in than the surprise. The surprise, I'd rather be in a surprise situation and deal with that because my mind and body don't have, they're just gonna have to go. They're not gonna. I don't have that moment to psych myself up or psych myself out, or get that adrenaline rush. Actually, start feeling it because I'm,
It's way worse
what's
after.
happening.
You're not going to feel the adrenaline dump until it basically is done.
Dude, I'm sorry, I don't agree with that at all. It depends on the situation, like we were talking about. There's the one that surprises you, and then afterwards.
And I'm talking about my own experience of having civilian self-defense scenarios 3 times, and multiple military engagements.
All right, I'm just saying there's 2 types of scenarios I've noticed, and the surprise usually after.
Now, I'm talking about the difference between a gamer who thinks that who's heard things on the internet versus my own practical experience.
All right, I'm speaking from practical experience.
What about the street thug who's been in jail like probably half of his life and never practices anything, but he's got a Raven 25? And that's what's funny to me is that we sit around and think about this shit.
Saved my ass.
We just sit around and think about this shit, but you got to realize, like, probably half of the fucking bad guys out there will put a fucking bullet in your brain. It just catch you out there, basically slipping, homie. That's just how it is.
It's more like 5% of the bad guys out there.
These guys don't take any training classes. They don't fucking do nothing. They're not ex-military. Maybe some of them. They're not ex-law enforcement. They're nothing, man.
But DB though, but like living that life, being in like if those guys have been in prison, I mean, let's face it, man. They've been in the stressful situations where they hone that fight, that those synapses that make them not get scared, make them overcome, make them like I want to fuck this guy up and take his shit, and they're not gonna get that adrenaline dump. They're not gonna they're not gonna get the shaky hands. And, you see those guys, and there's also the yahoos that you see when the old lady pulls out her 38, she takes a shot, and they drop their gun, run out, shoot each other in the foot by accident, crash their car, and there's
I mean, it depends. I have no idea. I have no idea. But I'm just saying, like, it's just funny that, like, most of these bad guys, yeah, you're right. Like, their whole life's been a fucking adrenaline dump. You know what I mean? These crack babies and shit. Like,
some of them. I mean, it's just like some people are going to freeze and flip the fuck out, and they're going to stand there and get shot. And some people, even if they don't have a firearm, are going to rise to the occasion and be able to handle the situation. And we see both. We see examples of both every time. And what I was trying to say earlier is I would rather be in a scenario where I get jumped, where I have to I don't have time to think about it. I just have to react and then feel sick to my stomach afterwards, and then adrenaline kicks in, or not when it kicks in, when I start to actually feel it, rather than being in the scenario where I know it's coming, where I can see it coming, and I don't have time to get. You're gonna get hit. You're gonna feel the adrenaline before the situation starts playing itself out. It's like the difference between an ambush, like in the military, or going in on the air assault, where you're going in hot. You're on the helicopter. You know what you're going into. You're trying not to psych yourself out, but you're psyching yourself out anyway. And then, or the guy that the fucking dude that pops out of the fucking the rat hole and starts taking shots at you with a fucking old Lee Enfield or whatever. He's some fucking Haji in the fucking hill with a RPG. Surprises the shit out of you, and it sucks, but you don't have time to think. All you do is react. That's what I was trying to get at earlier, and I think that's what Yankee brought up.
So it's just the fact that you've been surprised so bad you're going straight reflex. You don't even have time to think about it.
Yeah.
Whereas if you had time to think about it, you'd be like, then it's like I know for me it would be like, oh my god, like now it's time to make a choice, cower and hide or do something, or
I've been in that situation, and getting like the handshakes, it sucks. Like you don't have time, you don't get the sick feeling afterwards because There is no afterwards because you have time to fucking realize what's happening because you see that shit coming. And like the only way I've ever known to train to try to overcome that was just to do a fucking shit ton of push-ups and then immediately stand up and try to shoot at the target, or run a little bit and try to shoot at the target or whatever.
Well,
I mean, some ranges won't allow you to do that.
That gets you into physiological stress, not mental stress.
And
look, it's an extreme.
But his hand's shaking, so that's once your hand starts shaking, then you've already crossed that line.
I'm not saying it's not a worthy drill. Please don't take me wrong. But what I'm saying is there's a difference between psychological and physiological stress.
Yeah, and you won't ever know the side. You can't recreate the psychological. We said that earlier. You're never going to be able to.
Sure you can.
Hey, DV, could you come up and stab me really quick? I want to see how well I react. You know, I mean, you can come close. You can do the best you can. You can. Some classes will push you as far as they're legally feel comfortable pushing you, but like, it's hard to get that psychological stress. If you can physiologically, it's not that hard, and that's what I was saying earlier.
I feel sorry for law enforcement.
Force on force gives you that.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point, actually. I didn't think about that. Like, yeah, like some simunitions or airsoft or some paintball, I don't know, laser tag. Roller skating at Oaks Park, I don't know.
It's, back to where we were talking about muscle memory. We started with muscle memory, right? I mean, like, and I just feel like the repetitions, getting to your gun, getting your gun up on target, pressing the trigger, and all that stuff is so important. The more training you have, like different situations you have doing those things, from the ground, from the side, being punched, or slapped around like at Simunitions force on force classes or all kinds of stuff. I mean, whatever it is. It's awesome because most guys just go to the range. I mean, let's be honest, like most people just buy a fucking gun, they shoot it once or twice, they put it in, or they carry it, which is, for me, it's kind of like whatever. They never shoot it, and they have a false sense of like confidence, and they think like my best friend. Oh my god, dude! Like he thinks he's a better shot than me. He hasn't shot a pistol in like a year and a half, 2 years, maybe, I don't know. But there's no way he's gonna shoot like me. There's just no way. And I told him, even if he's like, oh, when I come visit, I'm gonna school you. I'm like, dude, when I kill you, when I really kill it on you on the range, and your group is like 5-10 inches and mine's 2 or whatever. Just remember that I shoot a lot. That's just, you know what I mean? Like, don't take it like, you suck. It's like you just don't shoot. And
most of us can't go to a class and shoot shit, get shot and shoot. I mean, that's expensive. What I was talking about earlier is what you could, even your buddy comes, fucking put some money on that shit, make it stressful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but even if he beat me, then I would feel bad because then he would be like, wow, he would tell me like, I don't even shoot, man. The last time I shot a pistol was like 1.5 years ago, and I fucking destroyed you. Oh my god! Then it would be like embarrassing and humiliating. But if I win, he's gonna have that excuse of, oh my god, you go to the range every month, and you shoot all the time and stuff. But I would love to have him come to a class because he's got this like fucking total like false sense. Like for him to even say that to me, like, oh, when I come visit you, I'll show you, and he's dead serious. Like well, he just moved again, but he was in New York. But like, it's like, when you come visit, like he's dead. He's not joking. Like he thinks he's going to be a better shot than me, and that's just like, look, I've got relatives that carry a gun with concealed carry permits that don't shoot a lot ever, basically never, and they think in any situation, oh, I'll punch, I'll do this, I'll do that. You hear these people all the time in these chats or in. You grew up with these people. Like, you'll have these scenarios like, oh, what if someone did this? Well, then I would do this. All this, like, gaming shit out and strategy, like, come on, dude. Like, it's ridiculous. And I don't even know what the fuck to say to these people, but, just try to get out and shoot more. Try to get out and, if you're carrying a pocket pistol in your pocket holster, do you even fucking practice pulling that out of your pocket? Because a lot of those a lot of those pocket guns and pocket holsters, they look pretty difficult to get out and on target fast when, you know, unless you're wearing like completely carpenter baggy pants. You know what I mean? Like if you know, it just looks like, you know, I told you the guys the other day that about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, I met this guy and he was telling me about his pocket carry gun, and he was trying to show it to me. It was like a Smith & Wesson, and he was struggling to pull it out of his pocket to show it to me in a calm way, like, you know, look, check out this cool gun I'm carrying, and it was like a 6906 or some one of those like small Smith & Wesson 9mm guns with the safety on the slide. And by the time he got it out to show it to me, and the safety was still on, and all I could think about was this gun is worthless to him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if it took him that long to take it out to show it to me, as if like to brag, like, look at my cool gun, I can't imagine in a real situation him getting that thing out, getting that safety off, and saving his own life. And it was just like, and this was a dude who was, you know, a gun guy. But there's tons of people out there, and those are the people who could benefit from that kind of training. But they could be like, wow, after a class, if they took a class like that at the end of those 2 days or whatever, they'd be like, you know what, that pocket carrying method wasn't so good. Like, I got stabbed every time. Or, you know what I mean? Like in those force on force classes. Or I got shot every time, or like, you know, I dropped it, or I couldn't get the safety off and stuff. And those are the people I think would benefit the most. You know what I mean? I'm gonna stop rambling.
Oh, I'd rather. It's fine.
I'll keep rambling.
I was
rambling didn't stop the other guys.
I don't know. That was like, I don't know how many minutes that was. I don't want to go more than a minute.
3-point. I love that.
I'm like that guy that back in the day, like in junior high school, or even like before, like you know, elementary school, I was so awesome at basketball until a lot of people were watching. You know what I mean? Like I could not play, and my friend, you know, the same guy who talks about how he's a better shot than me, he would get better as a player, like the more people were watching. Like he would just like it was added on to him, and he could hit 3-point shots, do all kinds of fucking trick shots and shit, and I just choked. But if no one was around, if it was just me and my, you know, couple of friends, I was awesome. You know what I mean? Like it was.
But I guarantee, if you would have kept fucking playing in front of people over and over again, you would have got over that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet you money, you would have to get over it, because, you know.
Yes, definitely. Otherwise, we're suggesting that only people that survive are people that have some inherent, like, skill or something. Definitely practice lets people accomplish more than they could before they practice.
Yeah, I mean, look at all those guys, you know, that have gone to war that were just regular dudes, and, you know, there's no, like, you can't say, like, this guy survived because, I don't know, his dad taught him to do this or that. It's just because, like, a lot of it's luck, you know, a lot of it's training. It's just...
And you hear that a lot from actual veterans, for as an example, like World War II. Why did they come back yet their buddies didn't?
Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason. It's just, dude, you know, make the best out of that bad situation.
Well, you want to throw some numbers down? They always talk about the defensive use of a handgun being in the, hundreds of thousands, if not more, depending on, you know, how conservative an estimate you want to pick for that. Right? People have heard that before?
Yeah.
So how many of those hundreds of thousands of individuals do you think really went to some sort of training?
None.
And it worked successfully for them. So, I mean, the training gives you an edge, but I don't think...
It's just a scenario, too. We sit here and talk about, like, there's one remedy to everything, and everything, it's always going to be different.
I think there is one. It's just you need to have your wits about you and be ready.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. And that's it.
Basic, maybe.
Prepare for the worst, hope for the best. I mean, that's...
Unlike DB, who cowards out as soon as discussion gets real.
He grabs his girlfriend, throws her in front of him, and runs away screaming. just like you just did earlier.
Well, when he ran out of words, he literally ran out.
Yeah. Whose chat is this?
Is it Z's?
It's Gun Channel's lobby. It's Gun
But I mean,
Channel's.
who's
It belongs to
hosting
them. Me.
Okay.
Sorry. I got nothing.
What is going on with your Glock there? Is that just the lighting that makes it look a little gray compared to that CZ?
Let's see.
You don't have a fail zero slide or something?
No.
It must be the lighting.
Yeah, it's the lighting. There's light shining on it back there. Although I did want that 41 slide to be gray a while back. Never got anybody to Cerakote it.
Any good gun movies anybody seen? I've been running out of Netflix new stuff, so I've been watching. I watched some older stuff, but
I was watching some series stuff on like Civil War.
Civil War?
Yeah.
What were we watching?
Yeah.
Just a moment. Let me pull it up here. It was Ken Burns, The Civil War.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
It's like 9 episodes.
You've already seen Ken Burns' The Prohibition 3-parter?
No, but no.
Oh,
Put it
really?
in
Watch that one.
Find out.
It's super good. It's really gun related too, in a way.
It's like pre-prohibition, then during prohibition, then kind of post-prohibition.
Yep. Very, very insightful, I thought.
Dudes in the late 1800s partied hard. Holy shit. You think people like? I love the fact people think we drink a lot now. Apparently, like 100 years ago, they were tearing it up way more than we are now.
We've been wimpified, and then like wimpy people like look at the extremes now, and the extremes now would be like a teetotaler back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, he has several others here that look pretty interesting too.
Have you seen The War?
Which ones?
That was one of the other ones I was going to mention.
If you've
The War, like World War One.
The War. It's about World War II. It's
The War.
He's got another one called The West.
I've seen The West.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, okay.
I like it.
Have you seen Pacific?
Him or just a show about the?
It's the HBO miniseries they did
No, everybody tells me that's good as shit, but I don't think it's on Netflix, so I haven't.
Yeah, it's not on Netflix.
Have you seen it, Dano?
No, I have not.
Oh well, okay. I guess it won't matter. Okay, there a few of the main characters are actually in. It's a documentary, but he interviews them in this documentary. So if you watch Pacific and then watch and actually Band of Brothers also, a couple of the guys from Band of Brothers are also in the war. He like basically goes through like these guys like time. It's amazing. Let me just put it that way.
In addition to one character that's in The Walking Dead.
What? Huh?
Do you know the one character from the series that you just talked about from World War II, where the actor also plays currently a role in The Walking Dead?
Oh, Band of Brothers or a different show?
Yeah, Band of Brothers.
I don't know if I've even seen that. I must have. That was on regular TV, or that was a movie, or what is that?
Band of Brothers?
Yeah.
That was a mini-series on HBO.
You're talking about Abraham Ford, yeah, Dano?
You betcha. That actor.
Who is that?
Michael Cudlitz.
Cudlitz, yeah, he was the sergeant that fucking got trapped in that barn.
Walking Dead, I guess.
Yeah.
Abraham Ford, the military guy.
Dude,
Yeah.
That was protecting
Oh, the
Eugene.
guy with the lesbian?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
He played the character where I think it was Market Garden.
Yeah, he was the sergeant. He got trapped in that barn.
Yeah, he got trapped in the barn as well as he had to spend the night on like a sewer drain under the road where the Germans had overtaken the town. So he was actually behind lines.
Dude, we're sitting here talking about being stressed out. That shit. That guy being trapped. He gets trapped behind enemy lines in Market Garden with the Nazis all around him, everywhere.
Yep.
he ends up having to fucking shiv somebody, but oh my god, that looks I mean that was just stressful watching it. True, I mean it's all true. It's all they took it all from the book by Ambrose and the war. Ken Burns' The War. He goes back and interviews a lot of those guys that you see in the Pacific and in Band of Brothers and other various documentaries, and he just puts it all together. And he also incorporates a lot of the black and Asian experience too, which is let's face it, it gets overlooked a lot. And those guys fought like fucking tigers. They were awesome. That the all Japanese unit in the European theater, the most highly decorated unit of World War II, and
Yep.
Tuskegee Airmen, all that stuff. He goes into all that too. It's an amazing documentary about World War II.
Is Hornet's Nest a good movie? Has anybody seen that one?
I don't think so. I don't think I've seen it.
A couple other things I've been watching on Netflix that, and some of them I've seen before, just it's been a while. Ultimate Guide to the Presidents. That was kind of an interesting one. One that's always good for a rewatch is How the States Got Their Shapes.
The first season, yeah.
Yeah. The second season is redonkulous. First season.
I quit watching the second episode. I'm assuming they're all like that. What was that first one though? The President something?
Ultimate Guide to the Presidents.
What I miss exciting?
We're just talking about movies.
I told Sean that he can leave. I'm done with him. Florida Carry is great and all, but come on.
You gave him permission or you threw him out?
I said, you are dismissed, Sergeant, or whatever the fuck his rank was. Thank you for your service. Good night.
General.
Tell him to come back when he has a webcam that works better. Or an internet connection.
He must have been sipping a fine cognac.
Hey, G-Webs, check that bottom link that I just put in. It's about military dogs on the front lines of a war in Iraq and Afghanistan. You might want to...
Oh, right on. I put that on my list. Thanks.
Cool.
Dude, there's one about Vietnam that is same thing. What's it called?
I don't like watching the Vietnam dog ones because they left them there.
Yeah.
Hey, I was just going to say the same thing. It's very sad. It's the same thing in World War II, but it's very, very sad what they did with the animals at the end that served so well.
You know
in
what?
Vietnam, it's not so bad because they became a very good dish.
They became a stew in Vietnam.
Exactly. Kung Pao, German Shepherd.
With World War II, they took dogs, like they asked for volunteers, and people gave them their family dogs and stuff too. So
right,
it wasn't just like dogs that were raised by the government or something.
Yep.
Yeah, it's here's a link to the. Oh, actually, I'll put the Wikipedia. If you guys are looking for the war, here's a Wikipedia so you can, have a reference.
I put in Ultimate Guide to the Presidents, and then it gives you that, like, here's some suggestions of other movies you're going to like. It's got The Day of the Jackal. Is that a good one?
That, if it's the one I'm thinking of, it's a good one.
A French paramilitary group disguised with President Charles.
What year?
Oh, disgusted with President de Gaulle. They try to kill him.
What year?
What year is the movie?
Yeah.
1973.
Yeah.
I was looking at it. I like 70s movies usually.
That's like a heavy-duty movie.
The original one was supposed to be good. I know the remake sucked. Right?
That's only on DVD.
Yeah, I added to my DVD queue.
Yeah, no, it's it's a pretty good movie. It's it's based off a true story too, right? The French Foreign Legion. That's why the French Foreign Legion isn't under. They used to be independent, and now they're under the French army. But they tried to kill de Gaulle.
Well, they're not allowed to operate in France. Is the whole deal with the French Foreign Legion, correct?
I don't know about that, but I know that for a while they were like an autonomous military unit until they got pissed off after. I think it was after World War II, where France was. Some shit happened. A bunch of legionnaires got left out, if I remember correctly. My memory's terrible. Got left out, hung out to dry by the French government, and the rest of the legionnaires were like, "Fuck you," and they came after them.
Well, that's the thing about the Legion is you're a brother. The Brotherhood is like for life or whatever, right? And beyond. Like there is no leaving the Legion, right?
Oh, you can leave.
Yeah.
Are you
The
sure?
black
there's
guy who was
cases
in the
involved.
TV show
It
was
didn't used to
ex-Foreign
be
Legion.
like that.
It's not the wall.
If there's a fine wine and some brie cheese, I think you can leave.
No,
I'm not sure.
No, just ask Jean-Claude Van Damme. Come on now, they chased him all
That
the way.
fucker got knocked out, man, at Scores
You
by
sign
Chuck,
up.
what's his name?
Zito. Chuck Zito.
Chuck Zito, Hell's Angel.
You sign up for any just like any military service. You sign up for your time. You do your time. You get out, and they give you a new idea.
I'm saying
No.
it didn't used to be like that.
Well, fuck, I don't know. I'm not.
And it was like
100%
criminals and stuff, maybe.
I just can't wrap
We
my
need
brain.
Bob here.
I
Bob
can't wrap
would
my
know.
brain around what they currently, how their mission is different than the French army. I mean, they're obviously they can both go abroad.
No, they're special forces. They're like the I guess if they'd be like the Marine Raiders or Green Berets. They're kind of like they're dual French special forces. They can do everything.
Then what's the Foreign Legion part have to do with anything?
Because they used to operate outside of France.
Well, so does the French army.
Well, no,
No.
Okay,
Like
okay.
they
Originally,
operated completely.
if I remember correctly, originally they wanted to be able to they wanted to have these people do things that the French government didn't want to have like on their hands.
Oh, plausible deniability.
There's a military service wing of the French Army established in 1831, unique because it was exclusively created for foreign nationals, so non-French, willing to serve in the French armed forces, commanded by French officers. It's also open to French citizens, who amounted to 24% of the recruits in 2007.
Sounds like some Jewish organization.
I mean, I understand it was
the Zionists.
managing the colonies.
It was primarily used to protect and expand the French colonial empire during the 19th century. The Foreign Legion was stationed basically in all their colonies. They were deployed to
Algiers.
But like French Guiana and all that kind of stuff, right?
So it was basically to keep their colonies in line.
They would be stationed in a colony, and literally until they left the service, they would never come home. They'd stay there. Unlike the French army, which would only go fight a war and then come home.
Yeah, and they also had plausible when they got more when they kind of became a shock unit more than just a security unit. They had plausible deniability. They had an amount of plausible deniability, and also.
Here we go. It was created by the French king in 1831. The purpose of the Foreign Legion was to remove disruptive elements from society and put them to use fighting the enemies of France. Recruits included failed revolutionaries from the rest of Europe, soldiers from the disbanded Swiss and German mercenary regiments, and troublemakers in general, both French and foreign.
So would we all be in the French Foreign Legion out under that definition, or no?
No, I think it was a punishment. I think, and like if you were bad, they would say you could go to jail, and it would suck, or you could go to the Foreign Legion.
Like back from I'm going to call it the '60s and before, if you got in trouble in this country, sometimes the judge would give you an option of jail or the army.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that was
a friend of mine got arrested and tried and everything. And I guess because we were young, the judge was like, you can go to jail or you can go to military school.
That wasn't
and they sent them to military.
In the 60s. That was when I went through basic training in the mid-'80s. We had a group called the Mississippi Buddy Platoon, and half of them in there were on what they call legal diversion, which meant they were either go to juvie or jail or do something productive like join the army.
DB, did you post that about BB King?
No, Fiscal and Palmer did. I don't even know if it's true, but if he did die, then God bless him, and
God rest his soul.
His music lives forever, man. He did it.
Did he pass on?
I guess.
I don't know, but I'm gonna Google it right now.
I know he's been hanging by a thread for the past week.
Either way, he'll live forever. You know what I mean? So
Here's what
rest in peace. It's B.B. King, man. He's a legend.
When I searched for that movie, the President's one, it also gave me Born on the 4th of July. What'd you guys think of that movie?
Yeah,
I liked it when I saw it.
Oh.
Yeah, it didn't rub me the right way. I've only seen it the one time ever.
Yeah, I only saw it once and I didn't care for it.
I'm not a big Oliver Stone fan. I think he's
Dead. B.B. King's dead at 89 years old.
Yeah,
I did get a chance to see him out here one time. I actually got to go with my mama. It was awesome.
Yeah, I saw him.
Never saw him though.
I saw him in
Never
Atlanta
saw him.
once. It was good.
It was
yeah,
after he had
pretty-
already been sitting in the chair due to the diabetes, but he still kicked ass, dude. He still
Aw,
played
dude.
shit on that guitar.
To live
Yeah, I mean-
almost 90 with his health issues, to live to be almost 90, that's pretty good.
Yep.
Oh yeah, exactly. When people die like that, it's like God bless you. You know, whatever you want to say, you'll live forever. Your music will live on forever. And yeah, he's been doing his thing in the chair for 20 years, right?
No,
like that's
like 15.
okay. But I'm just saying, like, wow.
But I guess 15 to 20. I mean, yeah, I hear you.
doing his thing in a chair. I remember a rapper said, "I'm doing my thing in a chair like B.B. King" or something a long time ago, and I was like, "Wow, that's pretty funny." But yeah, B.B. King's in New York City. It was a club, and they used to have like concerts there and and man, it was an awesome little place. I think he owned it, but I never saw him live, unfortunately.
Saw him live in Little Five Points, Atlanta, when I was young. Not much younger, but younger.
I like that. Younger, but not much.
It's been 15 years ago or so, but
If you were interested, G-Webs, here's the Wikipedia to the attempted assassination, yada yada yada, of de Gaulle and all that shit.
De Gaulle, that guy. I'm surprised that they didn't try taking him out more than once just for what he did in World War II.
You fly into Charles de Gaulle, right? Like today, like it can't be that bad, or it would have been like, can we change the name of this fucking airport?
It depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
Did you say the French Foreign Legion tried to assassinate Seagal?
Dude, we all know that.
They might have. They might have won that.
Are we talking Stephen or Katie?
Oh, wow.
They can't hit Peg.
Dude, I think you got a screenplay on your hand. You need to get writing, Yankee.
What hasn't hit Peg?
She was in Sons of Anarchy, and she did a great job. Her and her boobs.
I'm torn between whether she'll always be Peg Bundy to me or Leela from Futurama.
Oh, she's always going to be Peg Bundy.
But before that, I even saw her several times. Before I knew she was always one of the Bette Midler sluts, or the slutettes, or whatever they called them.
The mermaid chicks?
Well, one of her backups.
Yeah.
They used to call them like the slutettes or something like that.
Man.
The thrill will never be gone, Moon. You can take that to the bank.
I'm trying to remember if I saw B.B. King play when I was a kid. My parents used to love the fucking Rose Festival, Blues Festival, or whatever that shit's called. It's terrible.
What do you mean, dude? It's probably awesome.
Terrible.
No, it's a lot. It's a lot of the like old white guy blues. You know what I mean? Like some of it's way too jam bandy for my fucking taste.
All right.
Like I got high cholesterol blues. You know, that kind of
Yeah, you got a lot of old white guys up there on stage, like being old white guys and
with harmonicas.
Yeah.
Steve Martin showed up.
Oh man, Johnny Dangerously just came on Prime. Sweet. Totally different.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
Totally extending yourself out there, man. You can't be Prime and Netflix, are you?
No, I'm not. I am not. I'm only Prime. Solamente Prime.
That's too much, man. You're doing too much.
So you won't get much.
How often does Prime how often do they...
Once a year, $100.
No, I mean, like, how long do they...
read new stuff?
Yeah, thank you. God damn.
It's not every month, but it's
But as
like...
often as Netflix, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's like, what, 6 weeks?
I had it for a while, and honestly, like, I burnt through what they had, and I was like, okay, so when are you gonna like give me more shit to watch? I'm like, fuck. So and eventually just kind of like I canceled it.
I look at it more as, if you're getting packages regularly, it's a side benefit, but you wouldn't get it just for the TV.
I'm done with fucking Amazon. I got another book today that was totally fucked up. I'm like, what are you guys doing with these books before you send them to me? Like, are you throwing them into the mail?
I've been pretty lucky getting stuff shipped out here so far, because free shipping is the only way to get shit sent out here, because otherwise you're just getting screwed.
Well, I mean, part of me is like, should I send this book back? That's fucked up. But then again, it's a book. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it a bunch probably. I'm gonna fuck it up anyway. But it's like the principle of buying something that says.
No, you gotta fuck it up. You don't buy it fucked up.
That's a valid
you
point,
fucked it up. It's different, man. Fuck that. No.
I have a weird thing with books too. I love books, like I like reading, and like when I buy something from Amazon, it comes all fucking jacked. It looks like somebody used this as a doorstop.
Why don't you get one of those paper whites or one of those Voyages or whatever? The Amazon.
What are you talking about?
The Kindle Paperwhite.
Fuck that.
Oh,
like
fuck
a Kindle.
That.
Fuck that. You got 800,000. What is it? Like 2 million books.
Power.
Yeah. What?
Power.
I mean, what I got here, I got a library, and no matter what, I'll always have something to read. Like fucking, I drop my Kindle, like water, fuck zombie, apocalypse, something, anything. Fucking. Then I lost my entire library unless I can back it up on the cloud or some fucking shit like that. Like no matter what, I'm always gonna have a book to read. I might not have any food to eat, and like cannibals will be beating on my door, but at least I'm gonna have a book, to fucking keep my mind occupied.
And a book can always be used as Tinder.
Yeah.
Well, I don't necessarily mean it as like Hitler style. I mean, like you need to start a fire or you're gonna die, kind of thing.
Or if you really need it, toilet paper.
I was gonna say, or I need some sandbags. Stack the books up.
So if you don't have Netflix, how are you gonna watch Sabotage with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I heard it wasn't so bad.
Let me see if it's on there.
What
is it exclusive?
That's the one where he's a cop?
Yeah, the
DEA guy.
Oh, they're trying to give me Last Stand. They're not trying to give me Sabotage. Let me see if I type that in.
What did you think of that trailer, DB?
For True Detective?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
Dude,
I mean, I'm sure it's gonna be awesome. I don't know if it'll be as good as the first one.
Or she's like
No, she's a cop.
No. Well, right.
Rachel McAdams, she plays a cop.
Whatever.
They're all cops, right? It's like Vince Vaughn, the guy, the movie star dude. He's like a mobster, and then everyone else is cops. Yeah.
Is she like an undercover cop at a strip bar or something? Or
no, she's a real cop.
I'll put the thing on the. She does her fucking practicing knife fighting, and she does a fucking slick fucking reload on a 226, man.
No, she was practicing knife fighting. It reminded me of Huck in his back in the day with the water bottles.
With the water bottles?
Yeah, that's classic, man. That's classic Huck.
Classic Huck. Is it black and white?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like new Huck who barely shows up for his money, barely shows up for his check.
It was before
I
Huck.
don't like this guy. The comedian guy. I don't want to watch him in a real movie.
Yeah, but watch how he kills it. I'm sure he's going to do well.
He's been in plenty of non-comedy movies.
What comedian are you talking about?
He started in
Vince Vaughn.
non-comedy movies.
Oh.
True Detective, the first season was fucking incredible. I mean, it was
short hair.
mind-boggling.
He's always got short hair.
No, he's talking about Rachel McAdams.
Watch that reload, though. Watch that fucking reload she does.
Well, she looks like she's struggling, dude, and I don't, she's running at the same time trying to get her mag in the mag well.
She does she gets the magazine. You can see the magazine hangs, and then she does the fucking the wrist flick.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
She does the Corey. She does the Corey and Erica.
Oh,
he played Norman.
You're banned. Go hang out with Shawnee.
Yeah, she did. They sent her to Corey to range time. Oh, what's fucking crazy? I saw Will Smith training with Taron Tack. Taron Tack for it. He's training with them because he's Deadshot in this new DC Suicide Squad.
Yep.
So they had him on a kitted out fucking AR, like training with Terran.
Have you seen the pictures from the movie? He's got like the fucking he's got the fucking cool guy like Daniel Defense going on or some shit.
Yeah, but he's got the wackest outfit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, the movie, the costumes look horrible.
It looks like cosplay, dude. It looks like, come on, man.
What was
San Diego Comic Con, dude.
What's the blonde chick from Wolf of Wall Street? The Duchess of what?
Oh, she is hot as fuck. Margot Robbie.
Yeah, she's
hot, dude. She's hot.
She's playing what's her face?
The
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn, yeah. Oh my God.
Well, here's the thing: the Joker isn't even in the fucking Suicide Squad,
No,
so I kind of
no,
hope
no.
he's not in the fucking movie.
He's in
Oh
the
no,
movie.
I don't think he'll be in the movie much. Cause
I hope not.
they'll just make a cameo.
Plus, fuck Jared Leto.
Oh,
I said it
God.
in public,
DC's
live on
a
air.
night- It's a
Fuck
nightmare.
that.
You're a fucking nightmare. I don't know what's going on.
I just watched her mag change a bunch of times. I can critique it.
Okay.
There you go.
Under stress.
Yeah, she was
She's
struggling.
running, but she's looking at the mag during the part where she's supposed to be extracting her mag, and then she gets it free, like you're saying, but then she puts her eyes up and starts running and doesn't watch as she follows through by inserting the next mag, really. She just glances down at the end.
Yeah, it's not.
So was that baller or?
She could have tripped over something and not got her mag in there, but it was decent. It was better than
Better than most movies.
a movie where they just put it whatever out there for sure.
I think it's the same director because if you watch the first season of True Detective, that was all one person,
It's a
directing
different
every episode. Oh no, is it? Oh, because now
Yeah,
I'm
but
gonna be upset.
the director they got for the second season is pretty.
No joke.
I thought they were supposed to use some of the same cast members, just different characters.
No.
I thought this guy, whoever the first season was,
That was the point, is they switch everything.
Yeah, like what's the fucking American Horror Story?
No.
How they use the same actors, they just have them be different characters.
Oh, now I'm upset. The first director, Fuji Yakamura, whatever the fuck his name was awesome. He was really good. It was like watching a 20-hour movie or whatever, how many episodes it was.
Damn.
It really was so awesome. If you've never seen it, that first season of True Detective was mind blowing. Mind blowing.
They got Justin.
See you guys later.
Good later, Daniel.
They got a good director for. I think actually this season has a bunch of different directors directing it. I don't know. It's the same guy writing it.
Nick, alright? That's the guy. Yeah.
Whatever, Nick.
It's a different fucking director. That sucks. Okay.
I don't know.
deal.
Like I said, the directors that I heard that were doing the second season are pretty outstanding dudes.
But looking forward to that. June. That's not even that far away. So tomorrow I have tickets to Mad Max, and my girl stood me up. So
what?
What's fucked up is like the goddamn Avengers is in every IMAX screen, like in my entire state. So, which fucking sucks because it's Mad Max and it's like available on IMAX.
It'll be out. They'll move them out. Don't worry.
No. Avengers is going to stay in that IMAX screen until Tomorrowland next weekend. And then it's like Mad Max gets skipped on an IMAX. Like it's just going to get
What's
skipped.
Tomorrowland?
Tomorrowland is awesome too, but
Science fiction?
Yeah. Disney, science fiction, George Clooney, this chick, and it's like, and all. I don't know what the deal is, but it's completely original script and story, so it's not like a sequel, a prequel, or reboot. It looks cool though. But Mad Max tomorrow, so I'm gonna go see it at an RPX theater, which is like a bigger screen.
Or Stone Guy. Take
Stone
Ballistic.
Guy, yeah, I'll take Ballistic to the fucking moon and leave him there. But no, I'm gonna go see it by myself. I don't give a fuck. And then my plan is to jump in a chat tomorrow and completely spoil the movie for every fucker who didn't see it. That's my plan.
Mad Max drives around in a car, and then he gets in a violent interaction with a bunch of hooligans, and then it
No
ends.
spoilers.
He's
Kills
still
a few
alive.
people.
Can't
There's
spoil this.
explosions.
Go on Rotten Tomatoes. It's got a 99 fresh, right?
Wow.
And then on it's like IMDb or whatever the fuck. It's got so every critic who's seen it, it's like 70 critics. They've all loved it, and they all describe it as basically a 2-hour action sequence, like with no words. So it's hard to spoil.
And what's crazy is they all hated the other two. So
All right, here we go.
2003.
Season 2.
Wait, hated the other two Mad Maxes?
Yeah, the critics hated the other 3 Mad Maxes. We didn't. I loved them.
Thunderdome was pretty lame.
They're cult classics. Okay, so first few episodes of True Detective are going to be directed by some guy named Justin Lin, some Asian dude, who has directed like it looks like every action movie ever made. Yeah. The last later episodes are going to be directed by William Friedkin.
Oh, you're kidding!
That's
crazy. That's crazy.
That's the guy who directed the French.
That's The Exorcist. But
Yes,
he did Live and Die in L.A. I think he did a whole bunch of shit. Oh no, he did French Connection, right? That's French Connection. Yeah, French Connection and Exorcist and
Killer Joe was the last one he did.
Is French Connection good? I think I've seen that. Is that Hackman?
Yeah.
That's with Heroin and Popeye Doyle.
Live and Die in L.A. That one I think was good, wasn't it? Was that David?
I think it was. He was kind of the guy he got blacklisted. He was one of those hardcore like Hollywood dudes who would like show up with a gun on the set and drinking a scotch and this sort of fucking hardcore guy. And I think they were like, yo, fuck you. He did a movie after Exorcist and like pissed off those people.
Oh wait.
That's freaking.
It may not be true. It's on IMDb. Okay. I just went to his IMDb. It's on Wikipedia. I just went to his IMDb and it's not on there.
Okay, no, that's cool. I mean, that would almost be too good to be true. But it could suck.
That would be insane. That's what that'd be.
Okay,
insane.
We never heard of this guy. His name was Fukunaga. Fukunaga? Yeah, that was the director of the first season, and it couldn't get any better. It really couldn't. I think people got mad at the finale when fucker lived. Like
people didn't get it.
People were like, "Oh, he should have died in the fucking thing," and it was like, you know what? That would have been the cliche. That would have been what I expected. Really, I expected him to die. So I don't know. You can't get mad that it's like he didn't die because I don't know, whatever.
Oh, people can always get mad. Come on, you know that.
Man.
We saw that in the chat earlier.
You telling me what I can't get mad about?
Right? See that? That happens in these chats all the time.
Fuck it, man. Anyway, Mad Max, man. Seriously, Pitch Perfect 2 comes out, and if that makes more money than Mad Max, this is the first R-rated movie to have a budget like this. And if it doesn't do well, you'll never see another adult movie with a budget like that. And
that's the crazy thing about this
movie. So get out and see it, man. It's important.
Well, the deal with this one is they insisted on wrecking real cars and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. Okay. I love that kind of attitude.
All those
cars,
the
stunt team is serious.
All those cars, they're not mock-ups. They actually built them, and like the real the engines, all that shit's real. It's not just like make it look real. They actually just built the fucking cars.
Well, they wanted to use my vehicles, and then I was like, no problem. And then they were like, we're going to blow them up. And I'm like, no.
The stunt team is serious, but the costume designer is garbage.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was hyped. I mean, the like Road Warrior, right? Like people broke their spine making that movie. Like the stunt guys actually broke their back doing
the Richard
that.
one too. That famous scene where the motorcycles
run over the arm or the leg.
You can see the guy get hit with his own his motorcycle skidding behind him, and he gets clobbered in the head with his own motorcycle. And it's in slow motion, so it doesn't look that bad. But apparently in real life, that guy got fucked up from that. And DB just said that one dude goes somersaulting. You see, they put it in the movie. You see him, and he missed. I think he missed the airbags or whatever he's supposed to land on, and just fell on, hit the dirt, and got all fucked up, broke his back.
You know what's fucked up is I watched Road Warrior like 2 nights ago, and I felt nothing. That's probably because it's 30 years old, and I've seen that movie probably a million fucking times. So I just was like, oh yeah, I was kind of bored watching it. Like, oh, this is boring, And that to me was the best of all 3 of them.
DB, you on your phone?
Mad Max was the best one, I think.
The first one was the best?
I think so. But I think that the reason you don't get the same punch is we're not in the Cold War anymore. I mean, we legitimately feared that was the future.
Oh yeah, and for sure. Like me and my dad would watch that movie over and over. I don't know, that thing was on TV all the time. Road Warrior was always on like Channel 11 or whatever.
DB, you're on your phone or your computer?
Both, but I'm in the chat on my phone.
Nice
link. I'm on Gun Channels. So.
Go to the external link then and push that.
No, I can't do that. But I'm on Gun Channels. But how much did it cost Bloomberg to force gun control on it? Probably not a lot. That's mine.
No, it's Toe Cutter, man. That's why I wanted you to watch the goddamn
thing. Oh yeah, I can't see that. I know he's a star in this.
He's in it, yeah. He's what do you call it? What's the guy's name?
He's the bad guy.
But he's got a name. It's oh, what the fuck is it?
Dude, all I'm saying is, don't watch this shit on your fucking laptop. Get your ass to the fucking theater, because if it doesn't fucking make enough money, they'll never make a movie like this again. Like, seriously, this guy's like, I think he went out to like Nambia or wherever the fuck it was.
White House petition asking them to make another movie like this, though.
They'll never do it. They'll never do it. I mean, this is it. If it doesn't make its money back this week, like in this week, it's a failure. Like, period. Like, if it doesn't make $100 million by next weekend, it's a fucking total failure.
Wow, now I feel like I should go see it more than once.
Yeah, well, look, my girlfriend canceled, so I am going with 2 tickets. So I did my part. I could have got my money back.
Are you asking one of
I'm going to go pay and watch it, and then I'm going to walk out. I'm going to watch it again. Can I pay? And they're going to be like, no, just go ahead and watch it again. It's no big deal. The theater's not that full. And I'll be like, no, I insist that I pay for this again.
Yep.
Dude,
I'm just going to walk up and say, DB Cooper's got my ticket. What the fuck?
No. No, what are you saying, man?
I'm going to walk up right.
You don't got an IMAX theater near you? I mean, you need to really evaluate your life, man.
I don't.
Reevaluate yourself.
This movie will make its money back. It's guaranteed. It's like
no way.
I can't believe they don't put IMAXs in
Hawaii. It's a $175 million budget.
It's okay. You're only looking at the U.S. Think about fucking Australia, Europe, and fucking Japan is going. They're already going apeshit for this movie. Japan loves fucking Mad Max. It's weird. It's crazy. It's weird. Like, they're Japanese guys that sit there and just build like meticulous replicas of the motorcycles from the first movie.
It's going down like Waterworld.
Pitch Perfect 2. Pitch Perfect 2 this weekend. That's gonna win.
Quit saying
Waterworld.
Okay.
Waterworld. You know what's funny is my girlfriend was like, oh, I want to go see. I'll go see it. She's like, is this the thing about water? She was like, are they making a? Is this a sequel to the movie about the water? And I was like, what?
Not like Waterworld.
I was like, water? Are you talking about Waterworld? I was like, no. And it's not
you know why this movie's gonna succeed? I'll bet you $10 or whatever. I'll never give it to you. Fuck you. Is gonna succeed is because the ratings are coming in and they're like crazy good, dude.
Yeah, because Charlize Theron paid them.
Pitch Perfect 2. That's why it's not going to win. I mean, like
anything with Charlize Theron and it's going to get 99 tomato scores.
Yeah, Rotten. If you go to Rotten Tomatoes right now and you can't, the one negative review is some fucking Poindexter.
That didn't like Reindeer Games.
He's like, there's not enough character development. in this fucking 2.5 hour, or it's like 2 hours, it's not even 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
That's the guy, man. That's Toe Cutter. Except he's not Toe Cutter. He's that guy now in this movie.
Well, see, you know what? I saw people complain that there's apparently there's a car chase. This whole movie's a fucking car chase. Okay, so it's 2 hour car chase. Okay, it's a car chase, right? One of the cars is a truck with a rock band, and one guy's plays. He has a guitar.
I like
and
the
it's-
weird science guy better.
and he plays guitar, and it's a flamethrower.
Dude, that's
His
like
guitar
saying-
is a flamethrower.
If somebody went and saw this and was disappointed because a car chase, that's like going to see this and saying I was disappointed because it was a dystopian future.
Yeah.
Fucking
Why does this have to
apocalypse.
take place in the future where there's no fuel? I don't
Mad
understand.
Max? Why isn't this movie about a mad guy?
Why did it happy Max?
You can bring your young children to this movie
Fast
too.
and the
Like,
Furious was all the cars.
you can bring your young children to this movie and just tell them it's a sequel to the fucking Hunger Games. Just be like, this
So
is like Hunger Games 10, and
That
this is what it's
Mohawk
like
guy
after.
he got in there. He's like been one of the best or most well-known stuntmen in Australia, like for 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
That guy with the Mohawk in the picture.
Right.
I think this.
I think he was also in Shrimp on the Barbie with Cheech Marin, though, too.
He's in fucking Weird Science.
Yeah.
Isn't he?
Yeah.
He's gonna. This movie will succeed because if these ratings are insane. Like I can't even believe what I'm fucking seeing. Like, and honestly, like IMDb, whatever. Rotten Tomatoes, though, these guys are some cynical fuckers, man. For this shit to
Yeah,
come
they're
in,
pretty
like,
brutal.
Like the hype behind this movie before the ratings started coming in positive was strong. Now now the ratings are good. It's like every fucking buddy I know, all of Portland, Oregon's gonna go see this movie. And hopefully they'll fucking get some common sense when they go
What
see
if they're
it.
DJing that night?
Well, they're gonna fucking. Dude, there's been Mad Max parties. Like dude, my friend's like, oh, I can't talk. I'm going to a Mad Max party. I'm like, fuck you. Trust me, man. Like, people are stoked on this movie. Everybody I know is gonna go
Oh,
see
that's
this
good.
fucking movie.
I'm glad. I hope it makes money. That's all.
Oh, I get.
I bet you I'll sit in this fucking theater by
They
myself.
should have it at a drive-in, except they don't have drive-ins anymore.
Just have it in drive-in, but be like chasing each other around the drive-in like a circle.
Did you see his speed reload on the SKS?
No.
Or was it hers? I don't know. Like I was watching the new trailer, and it's like some fucking crazy. He's got a Glock 18, I know that, or a Glock 17 or whatever. And then she's got an SKS, and it's like a reload while driving. With that fucking stripper clip. Yeah, exactly. It was fucking crazy. It was like a one-handed speed reload on an SKS with a stripper clip.
My buddy won't go see this because she's only got one arm, and people like amputees creep him out so bad. So I guess those are the only people that probably won't go see this movie. People that are creeped out by amputees.
People who get creeped out by that character, you mean?
He's amputophobic.
Yeah, whatever.
Is that a
I
word?
told him, I told him he's lucky I have fucking all my limbs.
Oh.
If I didn't, I'd be fucking kicking his ass with a stump right now.
That is kind of scary. I mean, I was wondering, like, what does she wear, like a green arm because of green screen? Like they can, because it looks like she's got this like claw, this mechanical fucking thing on her arm.
God, this movie looks so fucking badass.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty cool. I think the next, I want to go see Tomorrowland, but I really don't want to see another movie until like the end of this fucking summer,
She wants to take all your guns and make a statue out of them.
Fuck that bitch. She's super anti-gun, but
Yeah, she
whatever,
made Sean,
okay.
what's his face, give up his.
Who?
Sean Penn.
Sean Penn.
Oh, bullshit,
Yeah.
dude.
He's a pussy.
No.
Too. He's a puss.
I guarantee.
They even posted that shit.
Bullshit. I guarantee. Bullshit. I guarantee he didn't. Dude,
And I guarantee you, he's not a gun guy, dude. He's
Even a famous artist melted all his guns down and turned it into a sculpture.
I guarantee you. But see.
What are you guaranteeing me of? Wait a minute. Let's clear this up. What are you guaranteeing me of?
Okay, this is why. All I have to do is say I did it, and that's good enough for my publicist. They're gonna go out and be like, oh yeah, and here's a couple of my fucking guns. They'll go out and do whatever they want. And
What about her, though? I mean, if she's really like, there won't be one firearm under my roof, in my house. Well, they were dating. I don't even know if they're still together. Who fucking cares?
if I was Sean Penn, I'd be like, yeah, bitch, they're all gone. And here's go melt these down. I'm Sean Penn. I'm gonna go buy some more.
I don't think he was so pro-gun in the first place. He's not like fucking Sean. He's not like, what's his name? Like, Brad
Wasn't he in
Pitt or
Taps?
fucking whatever.
Wasn't he in Taps?
Yeah, I think he was. He? That was a long. I don't know. That was the other guy. He might have been in it. He might have been in it.
Let's be honest. You just tell your publicist whatever they want to hear, or fucking your publicist is like, yeah, don't melt them all down, but here, fucking, we'll take.
I don't know. That sugar might be just sweet
Listen,
enough.
dude, if you dated a woman, if you dated a chick as bad as her, she's fucking one of the hottest women on earth. Maybe not anymore, but back then she was. And if she was like, my entire family was murdered in front of me with a fucking firearm, and I hate firearms, and they disgust me, and I won't have any in my house, you know, then you'd be like, oh well, I'm gonna get rid of them all, and except for this Glock 43 or this, except for this Ruger LCP 380.
Who's the chick that we're talking about demanded this?
Charlize Theron.
Yeah, Theron.
She's way too skinny.
No, she was super duper hot, dude.
Like, where's the door? See ya.
Sorry. Apparently you're the.
Well, G-Webs, you probably have more guns than Sean Penn did, so let's be real. You'd definitely be losing out on that.
G-Webs literally said, here's the door, see ya, and DB left.
He thought
he'll be back. Another Quaalude, he'll be back.
Dude, I'm sorry, but some fucking chick told me like it's me or the guns. I'd be like, well, it was fun while it lasted.
Dude, all you gotta do is go to Instagram. There are a billion chicks that like guns, that are into guns.
Why are we locked on
There you go.
moon screen?
There's hot ass Charlize Theron.
There you go, monster.
Well, it's locked on it in the chat, so everybody has a look at what Moon is like hurting the 3 viewers we have left.
I couldn't figure out what the fuck that ham was or whatever in the last series of pictures. It was like a bunch of people and then a ham or something.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
Maybe it was a beehive? I don't know.
Oh my! Yeah, she's a murderer.
It's messed up. That's just a regular Hollywood chick without all her fancy makeup and shit on.
No,
she did all this extra work. Like, yeah, she just didn't wear all of her fancy crap. She didn't sit there for 2 hours.
They did prosthetics on her.
There's the real chick.
Look at like any of the Hollywood chicks. There's pictures out there where you see them with them without all their crap on, and they just look like regular girls, and then they look all fancy when they're souped up for a movie or whatever. I mean, they might have put eyebrows on her or something, but I'm just saying, she probably looks like that when she just wakes up.
See, now DB's in the chat.
Naked when she wakes up. What are you talking about?
You literally like that chick? You can have her. We'll never fight over that chick.
I don't like that chick. Look at that. I don't like that chick. That chick freaks the fuck out of me.
DB left. Dude, DB left the chat so he'd go give up all his guns so she would date him. That's why he hightailed it out of here. He was like, I gotta melt down my guns.
Flux, though, right?
What?
She was Aeon Flux, right?
Right.
Aeon Flux.
Yes. Yes. Correct.
I always get her mixed up with Ashley Judd. I can't keep those two separate in my mind.
I know Ashley Judd is better looking, I think.
They're the same.
Well, why would you need to? That's the perfect threesome right there.
Was Ashley Judd in she's the one in Heat, right?
In Heat?
In Heat.
Yeah.
No.
No.
That's Charlize Theron.
Is it?
This chick is in Heat?
Sure. Yeah.
That's the guy. That was the one guy who had the girlfriend, right?
What's his name? Batman guy.
Batman.
Val Kilmer.
I'm thinking of the other.
It's Ashley Judd, you sons of bitches. I just looked it up.
Oh, well, my bad.
She's shorter and then follows this chick, I think.
You better be sad.
Shit.
Or sorry. Yeah, Ashley Judd's better looking. Well, I don't know.
What was that one where she was all on meth, dude, and worried about the bugs? Was it that fucking movie was terrible? Ashley Judd, yes.
Oh, I don't remember that one. That's pretty a drama, though. I only watch these chicks when they're in action movies.
Well, I'm gonna go do the opposite of DB and not melt down all my guns to get a date.
He's gonna go rub out a Mad Max poster right now.
That's just weird. Let's get Hawaii in here. He can tell me about the Navy.
Put you to sleep. Well, you know, in the Mad Max world, the Navy isn't as important.
Yeah, it's dude. Cars won the Mad Max war.
What about Waterworld, though?
Waterworld never
Dennis
had Mad
Dennis
Max.
Hopper.
I think the chat tonight fucking gave me a stroke.
At least it has severe drinking problem.
What? No.
Oh, well then you made it unscathed, you lucky fucker.
I stopped drinking a while ago.
Well, if tonight didn't make it come back with a vengeance, you're doing pretty good, buddy.
Yeah. That was brutal. I was like being stuck between a rock and a loud place.
Well, there was that. What do you call it? The lag? You think it was the lag? Because it was like it was perfectly bad timing, like every time.
I don't think there was any lag.
Oh well, then that's different.
I think he just keeps talking no matter who tries to talk.
I like him. He's a good guy, but tonight was bad. I think there was lag because he's not a dick. I think, and
No,
literally
definitely, because he uses an iPad, and I don't think he hears everything that we're.
That could be. That could definitely be.
If he's on an iPad, then yeah, he's probably getting lag. Because we've had plenty of chats with him where like he doesn't interrupt every single time. So
Well, sometimes he's at his desk on a computer in that room.
Right.
I'm in
exactly.
the hallway.
And then he usually has the webcam on, though, so that's why I think he was on his iPad.
I'm gonna go with bad connection.
Because sometimes he goes outside with his iPad, and that's where I figure the Wi-Fi gives him the buffer or whatever, and that turns into lag.
Yeah, whatever. So I'm
Okay.
gonna go. $25,000. Jesus Christ.
For what? Oh, that rifle.
Yeah.
Should have got it. Should have financed it.
There you go. Can I put this on layaway?
I was playing with somebody else's bot gun. It wasn't for sale.
Uh-oh.
Should have.
G-Webs, let me know if you can read this link when I post it, please.
Later, guys.
See ya.
See ya. Incoming. Let me know if you can read that link, please.
How to talk to your cat about guns?
Gun safety. Yes.
I've seen that. I tried to talk to my cat about gun safety. He just keeps touching the trigger.
And he does the same thing that cat's doing. He just fucking lays all over that shit. I'm like, fucking cat hair everywhere. Hello? Don't you know that's dangerous? That gets a like and a share.
Kalashnikov.
That ain't the first time you've seen that, is it?
That's the first time I've seen it as a
Like an actual booklet?
like, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, those. I mean, that might be a new one, but that has been around at least a couple of years. I think, long time.
Cats love gats.
Cats love hats.
That cat turned Muslim.
He does look like a Muslim, doesn't he? He's a little terrorist, son of a bitch, so. It's hilarious when you put that hat on him. He just sits there like that because he's like, what the hell happened? I can't hear nothing.
It's like his eyes are like getting pulled open too. Like his eyes are just huge.
He just sat there like that for
That's
a while when he put
hilarious.
it on there. It was awesome.
Oh no, he was thinking fuck you. Clearly he was thinking fuck you. Oh yeah? I'm gonna get you when you're asleep. Or unless he's not like that. He might not be vindictive.
Oh no, he's vindictive.
Okay, that would make more sense.
You can see him plotting right now.
Yeah, I'm sure he's like, this is fine.
Yeah,
I'm taking a picture? No problem. I'm adding that to the list. No problem. You're gonna put this out on the internet? I understand. We're gonna take care of this later.
Yeah, I love that. That shit's amazing. Especially if he would actually sit there and let you put that hat on his head.
Now he kind of knows what's coming because I made another one after this because this one didn't go over his ear, like over his head enough, so I made one way bigger and it goes like over his whole head. He didn't like that one at all, so now he doesn't like the idea of people walking up and putting hats on him anymore.
He's over it. It's like,
Yeah,
Dad,
he's
this
learning
isn't
that one.
cool. Come on.
Oh, I ain't his dad, little bastard.
You got to make him one with little eye holes.
Yeah, little ski mask.
Yeah.
There.
Oh, balaclava, man.
Yeah, there you go.
Just put catnip on it. He won't try to take it off.
He might be part of the Cat Team 6 or something like that. Something we haven't even thought of yet.
Dude, this is the first cat I had where I could put catnip on him or near him or whatever, and he freaks out. It's awesome. Maybe I bought better catnip this time or something. I've only tried it maybe 3 times in my whole life with cats when I felt like it or whatever, or I thought it was neat, but it hadn't worked twice. So I don't know, whatever. I bought this stuff at where the hell was I? I was at like some like fair, and it was like you could smell the damn. Oh, I was at the gem show, and you could smell the catnip like across the room. So I was like, wow, that's pretty pungent. I'm gonna try this stuff. It was like $1, and I got like a big baggie of it, and I don't know what to do with it, so I just kind of sprinkle it, like if I was putting, I don't know, pepper or spice on food. You kind of crumble it and let it fall or whatever. I just do that like on a chair, and then he'll sit there for the rest of the day like freaking out on the chair. It's hilarious. If I do it on the chair the dog sits on, it's like an instant entertainment.
Nice.
Because then the dog's like, why are you on my chair and why are you freaking out? He like rubs all around, he lays on his back and he wiggles and stuff. It's pretty funny. I'm pretty sure I've Instagrammed it a few times. I only put that up there because I'm sorting pictures right now, and that one came up.
I don't know, that's quality right there.
Sold not my first gun. My first gun was a gun my dad bought my mom when they were married, and she'd never been a gun person, so it kind of became mine. At least I always say it's mine when I was first born, so I had a gun sitting there waiting for me. But like my other first gun, like the one that was actually given to me first, I sold that one today. Kind of weird.
Yeah.
What was it?
And was it O.S. Mossberg and Sons or something like that? I think it's Mossberg and Sons. It's like a bolt action with the tube underneath the barrel, the magazine tube underneath the barrel. It's a neat gun. I figured somebody out there probably appreciate it more than I do, and it's kind of big for a little kid's gun now that there's like chipmunks and stuff. But I don't even remember the last time I shot the thing. Like I would have to think back. It has to be decades ago. I like just don't take it out ever. So I was like, well, let's move. Let's get rid of all the guns anyway. So anyway, it's been up on Gunbroker forever, since like November. Finally sold. That was my only gun story from today.
That's sad, though. I mean,
it is and it isn't, because right now it's just sitting here, getting in the damn way all the time, and I don't like it sitting out. I just don't want it's in my damn way all the time. So,
all right, I can
like,
understand.
I had some sort of obligation because I have had it for so long, but then I'm like, well, like I say, it's been a little bit of a debate, but it wasn't too bad when it was just on Gunbroker, because then I felt like it's best of both worlds, you know. I'm willing to sell it, but you know, it's not my fault that nobody wants it. But then it left.
You posted that on Facebook today, right?
No, I don't put guns for sale on Facebook because I'm afraid of what they'll do to me.
Okay. Well, maybe it was on Gun Channel's front page.
Not today.
Maybe it was on Gun Channel.
I might have posted a long time ago.
Okay.
Like I say, it's been up there for a while. It's just been, you know, an auction ends, you just relist it kind of thing. It's been doing that for a while.
What'd I miss? Bunch of silence?
I was just talking about that. Is anybody
The
watching?
way of the world.
That's the thing.
Still have
Yeah,
11 viewers.
Oh shit. There's 16 on Gun Channel, so I guess those people are out there. Where's Chris at?
I haven't seen Good Guy in a couple of days.
Oh really? Did he say he was on vacation or something?
I don't know.
I think so.
Nope.
Because he didn't go shooting last weekend. I kind of thought we might be going shooting this weekend.
He's not in the chat either.
No, I don't think I've seen him in a couple of days.
So I put my Glock 30S up for sale on Facebook.
Those are pretty much in demand all the time, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, they
You
used
know,
to be.
or you do it in a private thing or something?
Yeah. Still gotta transfer it in an FFL though.
Well, I just mean Facebook would ditch your account if you just put it on your main page, right?
I don't know. Maybe if someone reported me or something.
Oh, it's not automatic. Okay, I thought maybe it was like a robot or something that checks for that.
No, it's like a group. Well,
Yeah,
actually,
in a group, it's less, well, fairly unlikely to be reported, I suppose.
anyway, I put it up with all these extras. I know everybody doesn't want extras, but they're basically free extras. I put it up for $450 with 3 mags, the 1 9-round mag. I'm gonna keep the other one.
See, I mean, is that the extras you're talking, the extra mags?
And the holster.
Oh yeah. See, that kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, I guess technically you're not supposed to put value on it, like when you're pricing it, but I think that kind of stuff helps make a sale. You know, it helps move the item.
Yeah. Because I would keep it.
Everybody's going to put it up there for 4-ish, and if yours the one that's like, even if it's on the higher end, if you've got a bunch of stuff with it, even if you don't like that holster, at least you have a holster right away.
Yeah. I would keep it about the same price anyway if I wasn't. If I didn't include all that stuff, I just wanted all to go with it.
But then again, I'm sure Six would say, sell the gun for that price, like you're saying, and then just take your extra mags and sell them on the eBay or something.
Yeah. I still have.
He would definitely say that.
Yeah.
I still have 1 9-rounder still in the package. That they go for like $80 on eBay.
What is that? A 40 or a 45?
45. Yeah.
It's the slim one. That's because
No.
it's the single stack. Oh, it's not.
No.
It's
just
Why
super
would-
rare. Like they don't make them that often.
Oh, okay.
Dude, wait a minute. I mean, I know
It's
we're
like
still
the
on air, so maybe I
26
shouldn't
and
say
25
this,
ACP.
but I bought 5 of them the other day. I mean, not the other day, but a couple months back.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was because me and Ralph complained so much about them. And Glock
Yes.
hurt us.
Yes, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. You guys are like they're rare. I'm like, dude, they're right here. If I buy 5 of them, I get a break on the price.
Yep, but they're back up on eBay again.
Wow. Well, shit, man. Might have to just see what the market would bear.
You did buy them then?
Yeah, I got 5 of those, and I think I only still have 2 of the 10-rounders, though. Wait, yeah.
Wait, can you only have a 10 round?
Yes.
So you couldn't put the 30 round Chris mags in it, even if you had them.
No, I could not, which sucks.
That would look super cool in a little subcompact. So that's like the 26 or the 27 of 45 ACP.
Right, exactly.
Cool. I started carrying the 41.
I saw your EDC a little while back. That looks good, dude.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the same gun as my 35, except now it's 45 instead of 40. It's all the 40 haters out there. Leave me alone.
Well, and you're getting older these days, G-Webs, and maybe it's just time to give in to the AARP.
No, not that. I just figured it was time for a change.
Nice.
It's a 4 so instead of a 3, so it's a little bit different grabbing it. And I just was playing with it, and I'm like, "What the fuck do I carry this? I've shot it already. I know it works." So, and it's used. The guy who had it before me shot it, so it's not working.
And you have a 300 underneath the Surefire X Ultra,
Yeah.
and it fits perfect, doesn't it?
No, I have a 200.
200.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, just like if it was on my 40. No
Nice.
difference at all. So that means I really want a 40 now. But then I'm gonna have to buy an RMR. Fuck.
Yeah, well, I think Moon and I were talking about that earlier too. It's like I kind of want the 41, but now that the 40 comes out, it's just like,
Well, the 41 is practical. The 40 is just because I want to have a long slide 10mm. They're just cool as shit. I've always, I wouldn't kick away a 10mm, but I'm not going to go out and buy one. But if it's a long slide Glock 10mm with that crap on it, so I can put an RMR on it, that just seems too cool. Almost want to SBR that, put a stock on it.
Well, you could take that. I mean, I guess you wouldn't need to take that just other than for the grip size, but you could get one of the Mech-Tex carbines and just put it right on top.
Yeah, I was sitting there working lunches for this guy at the shop one day, and this guy came in and he had bought the 10, I think it was the 10 frame, so whatever full size Glock 10mm is, and that upgrade you're talking about in 10mm, because he said he didn't even want 10mm, but he went on a Gunbroker and it was like a third of the price or something. I forgot what he paid, or 2/3 of the price or something. So it was a significant discount. So he's like, I didn't even really want 10, but I figured for the discount I'd try 10. And then he just bought that lower for like nothing. It was like $250 or something, and he got the.
Then you have a
lower end.
10mm carbine, for crying out loud.
Yeah, and if it uses those what am I saying, Chris mags, they should work. They said, you just change the follower or something, or just use them, and holy moly.
Well, but you're talking 10mm instead of 45, though, right? So are there extendos for the 10mm?
It's the same
Well, you
mag.
put them on a 10mm mag, but you use the same extendo.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
the base plate is just it's instead of being a +2 extension, it's a +17 extension or whatever, 13 extension. So you just take that thing, which is made by Magpul for Chris, and you just put that on the bottom of your 10mm mags. And I would definitely do that for $35 or whatever they cost. And then 10mm carbine is 30 rounds, but maybe more. 'Cause that's a 10 smaller diameter, so it might even be 42. Well, not 42. It might be like 30 something rounds.
That would definitely be badass. And put a decent sized hole in something too, especially with that little bit of extra 16-inch barrel on it. I mean, you're gonna wring about all that speed out of it you can.
Yeah, exactly. Pointless, but it would still be a neat gun to shoot, I think.
I don't even know who makes a 10mm carbine except Therion Defense was supposed to. I don't think they ever came out with it though.
I definitely can't think of any off the top of my head. If anything, 10mm is a caliber that all the manufacturers sort of shy away from.
Well, it must beat the guns up.
Yeah, I can only imagine. It's pretty violent action.
So it's like, well, do we want to have a bunch of returns and people complaining about stupid shit that, the caliber wears the gun out, or make it in like 45 AARP?
Right. Smooth.
I wonder why they don't, they make 9mm ARs. Why not 10mm? I think the buffer too, and then the buffer.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think they're just. Well, no, I guess you're right. In an AR, it wouldn't matter. There's not that many 40s though.
Yeah, true.
And I'm sure the 9s are built off of like either Glock mags or whatever, Colt mags or something, so that they're 9mm length.
Well, do they make the sub 2K in 40? Does anybody know? The Keltec? Okay, I thought they did, but they only make it in 9 and 40. They don't make it in 45 or anything else, right?
No.
Correct. Yep. But they make it in Beretta and other mags.
Okay. Oh, that's right. That's right.
The Chris
They
Vector.
make a SIG one? They might make a SIG one even.
I know the new ones, the Gen 2s, are Glock mags and M&P mags. Are the two different versions.
You say for the Chris?
No, the
Wait, for the
Sub 2K Gen 2.
You said Sub 2K with Smith & Wesson mags? I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Gen 2.
That should probably sell. Except, do they make Smith & Wesson extendos anywhere?
I don't think Smith & Wesson does. But, yeah, I don't know if any third parties do either.
I don't think I've seen a Smith with an extendo sticking out of it. People that buy Smiths aren't into that kind of thing. They're more proper. They think they're better than everybody. My gun's so accurate, I don't need extra rounds.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, the Uzis, or not the Uzis, the MAC-10s and 45 carbines, who else makes it? Chris Vector, High Point.
Who makes 45s?
Yeah.
Thompson?
Thompson.
Yeah.
And that's one of
Sterling,
the first.
or are they 9? I think they might be 9.
Does MPA make one? Sorta?
I don't know.
Do they make a 45 even?
Yeah, they definitely make a 45 pistol.
Well, they make a carbine of everything.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, and I think they make a 45 carbine as well.
And then that what was it called? Like Just Right carbine or something?
Yeah,
Yep, Just Right carbine. Stone Guy was on their tip for a little while. He really seemed to like those. You might even own one.
I don't think so.
I don't think he ever bought one.
They are $700, if I remember right.
Oh, okay.
I've seen them.
They're just like them Therion Defense. I don't know what the big deal was when they came out, because the Therion Defense was out for a long time before Just Right carbines came out. They're the same exact gun.
Well, there's definitely these people that like play the, whatever you call that, like communication gap or whatever. Like, you know, something comes out and fails, and then it only takes a few years before people forget about it or are new to the game and don't know about it. And then somebody else either comes up with it, right, quote unquote, or like discovers, you know, this concept, and then they try it, and
yeah. Plus,
a couple of things.
Therion Defense Company used some pretty sketchy spokespeople on YouTube. Or like a couple of white trash trailer park. It was like a husband and wife team. Pretty funny to watch.
Sounds kind of scary.
I guess it was before they could like thought about approaching people like Mac or somebody.
What did Tapper Light put in there? The Arrow Precision. Arrow Survival Rifle. Which can be ordered in 9, 45, 40, and coming out in 22, 22 mag, and 17 HMR. That's about $800.
Speaking of 22 mag, what'd you think of? Was it Pincus that said he wishes there was a 22 mag that was reliable? Yeah, with the 20, he said he liked his 22 Ruger 1022 and 22 mag. What do you think of that idea for home defense? I think it's when Stone Guy asked him about if you'd use a rifle or a shotgun for home defense, and he was saying like, oh, you would use a rifle, but blah blah blah, and then a 22 Magnum would be perfect.
Yeah, I always thought an M&P 1522 and 22 mag would have been awesome.
Wow.
The rimfire is what gets me. I mean, I know that they're notorious for not chambering in an auto, but you know, so that's an issue. But even if you could overcome that, I'd still be worried about the rimfire of it.
The hanging up. Well, like, do they make a 25 ACP, like Magnum or anything crazy like that?
Not the hanging up, just like the failure to fire, the
Yeah,
dud
just the
rounds.
idea that if you have a gap in the priming compound, that's where Murphy's Law is going to drop your hammer when you fucking need it, right?
Right.
Then you're usually a little bit effed, on a 22 Magnum at least, unless it's a revolver where you can just pull the trigger again. But now you're manipulating a little skinny bullet that's got a massive tendency to get all bent up because it's long and skinny and fragile. Requires a long action.
Just looking for a reason to mess up.
Yeah, to bend or to not feed well, or So, I'm guessing those are reasons why we don't see them. Plus, availability would be insane. If they're not making 22, they're not going to bother with 22 Magnum.
Yeah. But what LCRs? They came out with the 22 long rifle and 22 Magnum at the same time.
What? Oh yeah, the revolver.
Yeah. They just knew it was going to work, probably, or knew how popular it would be.
Yeah, that was a no-lose scenario. As soon as they knew that the LCR was popular, they can put it out in freaking anything and people will buy it. They could put it on 32 Magnum and people would buy it.
Now, how many 22 Magnums do you think you could actually fit in that LCR, though?
It only holds 5.
I know it only holds 5. Do you think it could have had a cylinder that held 6, though, at least?
Oh, yeah. I don't know why they pussied out. I have no idea, unless they didn't want it to be heavy or something. It makes no sense. Why would you put a gun together that big with 5 rounds of 22 Magnum?
Yes. That's what I was wondering. It's like...
Or is it 6? It might be 6 and the 22 is 8 or something like that. But still, I'd want more than 6 for 22 Magnum for sure. Especially when I've got to consider twice it's going to go dead. I'm going to fall in a dead round. I'm just assuming Murphy's Law is going to fuck me twice. So I'm not going to take my number of rounds divided by 2 almost.
Did you ever get a chance to fire one of those high standards in 22 Magnum?
Probably.
I think NEA has, Matt, but
I owned a high standard and 22 short.
Oh, wow.
Unless it's a brand new gun, I've shot a lot of high standards throughout the years, so I would probably...
Oh, it's definitely not a new gun. It's an old gun. But I just thought it looked cool. Yeah, high standard, 22 Magnum, with the... Looks like a long barrel, Let me see if I can find it.
The action would have to be huge. It's twice as long as a Magnum almost, or a long rifle almost.
And that's one of the problems with the PMR 30 is I can't own one of them out here because they do not have a 10-round magazine.
Oh, this guy sold his 30S in a day. Posted his yesterday.
Yeah, he wasn't trying to offload a bunch of holsters, magazines, and shit.
His came with the two 10-round mags and two 9-round mags plus factory night sights and a Vickers extended mag.
Oh, you know what though? I sold all my 2 Rugers and 18 mags or whatever, and it had 2 30-round mags or whatever they are, big long mags in it. And I sold it to a guy in Colorado, and he couldn't accept those mags because they're stupid laws.
Oh, that sucks.
How bad is that? And that guy had to pay full. I'm not going to give him a discount or whatever. He auctioned it, right? So he paid the auction, but then he's like, I guess just don't send those. I'm like, that's weird. All right. Gave him to Chris.
Nice. I'm sure he didn't mind a bit.
I'm trading him for those little tiny steels he has that I want really bad.
Nice. That's very cool. Oh, come on.
There was a guy that messaged me, said he'd probably buy it Sunday. I hope he didn't buy this one instead. Let me see if that's the same group. Son of a bitch.
Oh, I thought you were looking at Gunbroker. Yeah, that's frustrating when you're selling it like that in a group and somebody's like, oh, here's one then.
Oh, it's the same group. No, wait.
Oh, it's a gun blast picture too. It's the AMT. I thought it was a high standard though.
Okay, that one I'm familiar with. I've definitely shot those. They are cool as shit. I would own one if they weren't so much damn money. That and a Grendel. 3 of my favorite little 22 Magnums. Wish I'd have that collection. That'd be neat. I've shot 2 Grendels, 22 mags.
And those look kind of badass too, those Grendels.
Yeah, they look weird as shit, but they're neat. They don't work as good as the PMR 30. They both didn't work good. But they were both used guns, and who knows if, I didn't clean them out or anything. They might have just needed a good cleaning. Especially for something like that is prone to dirty anyway. Rimfire's filthy.
Maybe I should offer him a choice between leather outside the waistband or the Kydex inside the waistband. Take your pick.
Let's see. Is there a price on this thing? 6-inch barrel. Yeah, the model AMT Automag 2 by High Standard. Yeah, those things I think they look pretty cool.
Oh, that one looks super cool.
round
The
mag.
Grendel looks weird as shit. The High Standards look kind of like a mini Automag. The same company, but kind of like it. .44 Magnum Automag, the most powerful handgun on the planet.
Was that what's his
He was
face?
in a field. I don't remember which one it was. If it was the real one or if it was Magnum Force, but he was in a field shooting it.
Wasn't Magnum Force, because Magnum Force was with the bad cops.
It wasn't Dirty Harry?
No, Dirty Harry, yes, but Dirty Harry Magnum Force was the one where it was like the motorcycle cops were the bad guys, kind of.
Yeah, okay.
I remember.
I don't remember which one it was, though, because I don't remember which one it was. I just
Because it's Deadpool, I think, was the one where he used the Automag.
Really? That's the one with that chick in it, right? It was like
Yep.
His
wife at the time. I think that one even had Jim Carrey in it. Because he was one of the rock stars or whatever that got killed.
That's why he hates guns now.
Right? Plus he's a douche.
Guns killed me in a movie once.
Right? I'll never forgive him. More than a Hollywood hand cannon. And if you ask me, the 44 Automag looks like a Mark II. Just on
bigger,
mega steroids.
But I think it's
got the
Magnum Automag, because then you get twice as much Magnum in there.
I think that is the
title. They missed an opportunity. They should have called it They should have been in Magnum Force then.
I don't think that gun was out then, because Magnum Force was like the second Dirty Harry movie, I think.
I need to watch all those again. I wonder if they're probably not on Netflix.
Man, they just had a Dirty Harry marathon the other day. Well, not the other day, a couple weeks back. I got in on a little bit of it.
Just on the TV, you mean?
Yeah, it was like either AMC or TNT or something. I don't remember at all, but I remember catching parts of one or two movies. Oh, here you go. Let's see, you even got Clint. What does it say here? This is the 44 Magnum Automag, and it holds a 300-gram cartridge. And if properly used, it can remove the fingerprints. Oh yeah, nice. And if properly used, it can remove the fingerprints. Nice. I will share this picture.
Well, I was going to say be right back, but it's also pretty late, so I think I'm going to ditch out.
All right, man. I'll definitely catch you soon.
Good chats. Thanks.
Anytime.
Later.
See you.
Aloha.
Oh, I'm going to shut it down then for the night because it's like 3:30 or something.
Yeah, as I say, it's probably pretty late.
Pretty late. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Got 13. Well, we added 2 more viewers. Sorry.
Whoops.
Y'all.